Part 28. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 271. Soon, night falls. Time Chicken found paper and pen and started drawing a map. And this night, it was destined to be sleepless. The stupid boy was lying on the ground, wrapped in a blanket, looking at the fleeting figure in the sky, curious. What is that? A bird? An airplane? It can't be Superman, right? In this situation, it wouldn't be surprising even if there was a Superman. Time Chicken took the time to respond. At this time, the stupid boy said again, the first time I went to the cinema when I was a child, I saw Superman. I saw him rescuing a little boy from a waterfall. He was so handsome. Speaking of which, I have been waiting for a chance to be a hero since then, right? You are not bad now? Isn't there the energy to complain or something? The Time Chicken glanced at the stupid boy, and then continued to draw the map. Yes, it turns out that now that we have superpowers, we have destroyed the world, twice. The stupid boy looked at his hands and pursed his lips. I don't dare to use this ability to fight now. Just in case. For it. When Wanjie heard this, he opened his mouth. Actually, this time, What? The stupid boy asked. That. Time Chicken seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he still laughed and said, it's okay, as long as you find little King Kong, your problem will be solved. Well, this time, it was actually the world he destroyed. It's just that, for a moment, he didn't know what to say. I wanted to confess, but I had some concerns. In the end, I chose to hide it in my heart. As long as I find little King Kong, everything will be restored anyway. Well, yes, that's it. Not just me. But the stupid boy turned his head, looked at the big Neza and Pinocchio, and said 883 and Neza, he will become a normal child, and Snow White will meet Suyu himself, Prince Charming. Pinocchio will also become a human. The stupid boy was wrapped in a blanket, looked at Time Chicken, and suddenly said, oh, speaking of which, Time Chicken. How? Wanjie responded, neither salty nor blandly. Just listen, the stupid boy said, have you done anything wrong that you want to change? As soon as these words came out, Wanjie broke into a cold sweat instantly, and then he said, thank God for not being deducted from my salary. Oops, I'm going to sleep. Don't stop me from drawing the map. At this time, countless people in all heavens and realms looked at the scene with some emotion. Although Time Chicken is not reliable at this time, but, how should I put it, it is still a bit conscientious. Well, I have a little conscience, but not much. Tisk, I can finally see that the destruction of the world this time was caused by him. It's so funny, do you even need to say it? He was the one who did it? Indeed, he must have done it, and I don't know what exactly happened. You don't need to know what happened, it's already happened. At this time, countless people were discussing. Then, they saw each other again, and the scene turned. On the other side, the unfaithful king gathered countless bad guys who had traveled through this world, and after a little show of strength, he gathered everyone. And he has only one target, that stupid boy and the Time Chicken. These two are his enemies. Soon, through the magic mirror, I learned that the Time Chicken, the silly boy, Neza, Li Jing, Pinocchio, and Snow White were divided into 3 groups, heading to different places, seemingly going to do something. As for what exactly? I don't know. Because King Neobula only cares about his 2 enemies, the Time Chicken and the silly boy. If he wants revenge, he will naturally deal with these 2 guys alone. As for the other 2 groups of people, King Naishi doesn't care about that, just leave it all to the Witch Queen. And the Queen naturally wanted to deal with Snow White and Pinocchio. Well, she swore that Snow White would die, and that Pinocchio, that dead log, she would make it into a broom. Then, she took over everyone and went after Pinocchio. As for Neza, just send anyone who can dance happily. It doesn't matter, she doesn't care about Neza anyway. Now, the bad guys are also divided into three groups. A little gangster, looking for trouble with Neza. The witch, along with all the horses, went to hunt down Pinocchio. The king of birds of a feather is also looking for trouble for the stupid boy and the time chicken on his own. But at this time, the scene changed, the people had been divided. Time chicken wrote the direction they were going, the maze they would encounter, and even the method to solve it on paper, and gave it to them. The three parties are naturally on the road. There were many difficulties and dangers along the way. In order to be able to unlock the seal at the same time, the stupid boy also gave everyone mobile phones and set a time. As long as the time reaches 0, when the time comes, they will press it together. Moreover, he also asked Time Chicken in detail about how long it would take. Then, on this basis, some time is added to ensure that even if there is some trouble, there is enough time to press the buttons at the same time. The three parties hit the road. That's a lot of mountains and rivers. All three parties, no matter which one they were, saw the broken world today along the way. There are architectural ruins everywhere, and at the same time, there are various mountainous terrains that do not exist in this world, and even forests and lakes. Everyone is secretly determined to change the world as well as themselves. On the other side, under a cliff, the winding maze and the huge cube are extremely majestic. This thing alone looks like a miracle. I don't know how it was created. Pinocchio looked at the note in his hand, then looked ahead, and breathed a long sigh of relief. We're finally here, the square maze. However, at this moment, Snow White and Rottenwood finally caught up with you. A cold laugh came from behind. Pinocchio and the two looked back, and saw that the queen and the witch, who didn't know what was appropriate, had appeared behind them sitting on a broomstick. Clang, at the same time, a hook and lock was thrown up on the edge of the cliff, and then densely packed evil ghosts and evil creatures climbed up. There was a group of witches in the sky, and an army of evil ghosts and evil creatures below. Now this army is under my command, and I have sent all my forces to chase you. Look how much I care about you. The queen looked at Pinocchio with a chuckle. I am so grateful to you, Pinocchio shouted angrily. Whoosh, the long nose was like a sharp sword, stabbing the queen. However, the queen just dodged it with a slight side, looked at Pinocchio, and said with a smile, "Oh, Yo-Yo, you are telling the truth." Seeing the queen escape, Pinocchio couldn't help but break out in cold sweat on his forehead. Now, he's in trouble. His nose has shortened again. At the same time, he is full of worry. They have such a terrifying army here, what about the other side? Twice. There is no doubt that they will also encounter corresponding troubles. At this time, on the other side, Neza and the two were walking on the road, humming and chirping along the way, and the tune was leisurely. It was like traveling. What a fool. And behind these two people, the little gangster held a knife in his hand and finally caught up with Neza and the two. However, looking at Neza's terrifying figure, the corner of his mouth twitched surprisingly. Just send me alone to deal with this monster? What to do now? Is it possible to rush up to them and tell them, raise your hands, you are surrounded by me? It's strange that it's so useful. He complained crazily, and felt that his voice was louder again. He quickly looked at Neza and the two of them. Fortunately, the two of them didn't seem to notice him. Phew, calm down, no matter how strong a person is, there are flaws, just follow them quietly and see the right time before taking action, he sneered, and the scars on his face became more and more ferocious. However, as soon as he stepped out of the grass, click, the branch broke. The little gangster was shocked. It was so dangerous. Neza and the two didn't notice it. He breathed a sigh of relief and walked forward again. However, he didn't know where the dog came from. As soon as he stepped down, he stepped on the dog's tail. The dog barked wildly. He was frightened and hurriedly hid. There seems to be a sound from behind. Neza turned his head and looked behind him. Clang. At this time, the long sword was instantly unsheathed. Li Jing took off his robe and shouted coldly, "Look at the sword." The next second, the long sword slashed directly at the Witch Queen. Snapped, the Witch Queen fell directly from the air, knelt on one knee, clasped her hands together, and took the sword with her bare hands. "Why is it me again?" The Witch Queen was shocked, but then she realized, "Oh, why is it you? Where is Snow White?" It wasn't until this moment that she discovered that the person with Pinocchio was not Snow White, but Li Jing. Pinocchio stepped forward and said calmly, "We had already guessed that there would be trouble, so at the beginning at that time, they changed their positions." Yes, the positions were changed at the beginning. Pinocchio just felt that his combat power was too low to protect Snow White, so he had to change someone with a higher combat power to join Snow White. And those with higher combat power are either dull boys, but Pinocchio is worried. Or, it is Neza. Neza has a pure heart and is still a child. The key is that his combat power is terrifying, so Neza and Bai Shui, with the princess, there is no problem at all. And he, with Li Jing. 0. Anyway, both of them are capable, and together they can be regarded as fighting power. Looking at the other two parties, they have enough fighting power. That's the situation. And at this time, on the other side, the little gangster also discovered that the person next to Neza was a woman. Haha, it turned out to be a woman. I thought it was the one holding the sword. Since then, my chances have been much greater. What the hell? He was a little annoyed. How are you going to fight those monsters? He looked at the knife in his hand, and then at Neza's terrifying figure, and the corners of his mouth twitched wildly. There is no doubt that with Neza here, even if Snow White has no fighting power, he can still protect her. And this, by the way. The Witch Queen stood up, looked at Li Jing and Pinocchio in front of her with a gloomy expression, and gritted her teeth. "You guys actually fooled me." But then, she smiled again. "But just the two of you, how are you going to deal with the army behind me?" "An army? It's a real army. There is her group of witches in the sky. There are groups of evil ghosts and monsters on the ground. One person can drown them with just a spit of spit. However," Li Jing snorted coldly, "you underestimate me too much. Li Jing is gone. The mighty General Chen Tangguan, will he only receive one move with bare hands and 100%. Said. Clang. They cut off the swords in their hands. Snapped. The Witch Queen knelt down on one knee again and clasped her hands together. She was stunned for a moment, then gritted her teeth. Isn't this just like taking the sword with bare hands? However. Thump 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 thump. Behind her, there was a dense sound of landing. She looked back, and then her eyes widened. But what she saw was the densely packed evil monsters behind her, and even her coven of witches were all kneeling on the ground, clasping their hands together above their heads, and catching white blades in the air. What? This? She is all stupid. What the hell is this? And those evil spirits and ferocious creatures were even more frightened and didn't know why. What happened? Can't move at all. Damn it, this is so shameful. Why can't I control my body? So I kneel down and take the sword with my bare hands. In response to this, Li Jing just smiled faintly and said, this is a unique move that Li has practiced based on his own settings. There is a 100% chance that he will be caught with his bare hands in the second move. I can make all the enemies in front of me take the sword with their bare hands at the same time. Pinocchio was stunned. Okay, so awesome. At this time, countless people across the world saw the scene and their eyes widened. Damn it, 100% being caught in the second style with barehanded 2.6. How can this ability be improved? It's so unbelievable. It's so unbelievable. Damn it, this Li Jing has something. Unbelievable, this Li Jing actually developed his ability to this level. Good guy, forceful control? This is such forced control. Whoa ri, the best control skill in the world. Good guy, this kind of powerful control skill, who said before that it is 100% useless to be caught with bare hands. What I should have thought of earlier is that only rubbish people have no rubbish abilities. Can you still use it like this when you are 100% caught with nothing? This isn't just forced control, it's also group control. Forced control, the body can't move, good guy, I suddenly feel that this ability is incredible. Damn, if Li Jing cooperates with Neza, he can beat the crap out of everyone. Not only when you cooperate with Neza, but when you cooperate with anyone, you can beat the shit out of anyone. Forced control. Forced control. Hard control. Group control. Damn it, I'm so numb. Did you say this was a useless skill before? He also said that Li Jing would never be able to use the sword again. I'm sorry, I was wrong, I was too hasty. I should have thought of it earlier. This is not only a forced control, but also a magical skill of forced displacement to save people. It's outrageous, it's outrageous. At this moment, countless people were dumbfounded and looked at everything that happened in the Dao Golden List in shock. They never expected that this Li Jing still had this skill. It's so unbelievable. He was 100% able to catch the second hand of the white blade with his bare hands. Group control. Damn it! What kind of incredible conceptual ability is this? Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 272. At this time, countless people in all the worlds looked at what was happening on the screen. They were all surprised, and the corners of their mouths were twitching crazily. At the same time, I am also very emotional. Unexpectedly, I never expected that this weapon could be used like this after being picked up with bare hands. What the hell, it's just a hard control, but it's also a group control. Only. After all, it still can't be cut. What's the use of such a move? The Witch Queen also looked at Li Jing speechlessly, and everyone was numb. Of course she didn't understand, and all the worlds just smiled at this. Forced control skills? It's useless. Yes, it can't cut anyone. What? Then the damn thing is not used to kill people at all, but the damn thing is used to assist. Are you talking about damage with the support? You are laughing to death. In response, Li Jing also smiled slightly, with a rather confident expression, and said lightly, "Brother with a long nose." Well, Pinocchio responded, eager to give it a try. Countless people in the world secretly said that it was true. All he needs to do is to point Pinocchio at the witch, tell a lie, and then pierce his nose directly. Hiss. Think about it and get excited. If you have a teammate like this, what the hell, wouldn't that be so satisfying? However, just when countless people were thinking about it, they heard Li Jing speak very fast. Run. As soon as he finished speaking, he slipped away with a whoosh. The total amount was 1 pill, and the scene was eerily silent. Pinocchio was stunned and hurriedly chased after him. Slip away. The Witch Queen was also numb. Sure enough, it was really useless. At this time, as Li Jing loosened his control, the evil ghosts could finally move. The body is free again. Finally we can move. The evil ghosts feel the body that can be controlled, and they are excited again and again. The Witch Queen looked at the evil ghosts coldly, and said quietly, "Then what are you waiting for? Chase me." The evil ghosts came to their senses and quickly chased Li Jing and Pinocchio. Li Jing and Pinocchio were running wildly in front, while the army of evil ghosts were chasing after them. Boom! That's like shaking the earth. Seeing the army getting closer and closer, Pinocchio hurriedly said, "General Li, we are catching up, think of a way." Li Jing gritted his teeth and pulled out his sword again. "Look at the sword." A low shout sounded, the next second. Wow, those evil spirits and witches knelt down in great numbers. Taking this opportunity, Pinocchio hurriedly ran away. "Come again." The witch queen is speechless. Ah, Li Jing smiled and felt that Pinocchio was almost running away, so he hurried to follow him. Behind, the witch queen gritted her teeth and chased, seeing that she was getting close again, and then clang! The long sword was unsheathed, the evil ghosts and witches knelt down again. Then, an extremely funny scene appeared on the screen. Li Jing ran in front. The witches and evil ghosts chased behind. Seeing that Li Jing was approaching, Li Jing just one sword. Just like that, one ran away, a group chased him, one swung his sword, and a group knelt down. In the end, every step he took, he had to swing a sword. The witch queen even cried, "Are you bothered? My knees are bleeding." Ah! In response, Li Jing just smiled coldly. Finally, Pinocchio and Li Jing finally reached the maze. The two of them jumped in without saying a word. Behind, the witch queen sneered, with a face full of ridicule, "Idiot, maze. Haha, the maze is useless to us witches. We can fly." Yes, a group of witches are flying in the sky, how can they stop the maze on the ground? Live with them. Only. Boom. The next second, the witches collided directly with an invisible wall in the sky. The collision was like a mess. Smoke and dust flew everywhere, and the witches fell to the ground. The witch queen rubbed her head and looked at the sky. The transparent barrier was a little speechless. There is actually a magic circle. I looked down again, and then I took a breath again, with a look of distress on my face. My broom. Her broom broke again. The losses are getting bigger and bigger. Chase me, my losses will be repaid 100 times by that rotten wood, the witch queen gritted her teeth. However, at this moment, a little devil hesitated and said, "But this is a maze, and we don't have a map." "So what? There are many of us," the witch queen snorted coldly. The next second, all the witches and evil spirits rushed into the giant maze. Li Jing and Pinocchio had the map, so naturally they could run as they wanted. Those evil ghosts could only use the exhaustive method to try one place after another. Of course, even if you try, it's not that simple. In this maze, there are traps everywhere. Some are huge piranha. Some are huge octopus, it's terrifying. Even the three-headed hell dog appeared out of nowhere. There are traps everywhere. To be honest, there are some useless people. But it's not a big problem. The most indispensable thing over there is people. And with at the same time, on the other side, Neza and Snow White also arrived at the so-called maze. It's just that the maze on their side is relatively warm. Yes, it can only be described as warm. What the hell, what kind of maze is this? This is obviously an amusement park. Neza and Snow White were having a lot of fun. But Li Jing and Pinocchio were being chased in an extremely embarrassing situation. That was dangerous. The two sides formed a strong bond. The contrast. On the other side, the time chicken and the silly boy finally arrived at the Honeycomb Canyon. To say that this Honeycomb Canyon is also a bit interesting. In the canyon, there are countless crystal prisms standing densely. The crystal prisms are deep and icy blue. And to unlock the lock here, you have to play a piece of music. Each crystal prism can produce different sounds. If the sounds are matched, the correct score can be played in the end. In this way, you can reach the place where the seal is opened. Although it is difficult, but the problem is not that big. Over there, enjoying the mountains and rivers in the amusement park. Here, being chased and slashed in the maze. Over there, in the honeycomb canyon singing and dancing. Here, they are still being chased and slashed in the maze. The gap. Tisk, Li Jing is more than just miserable. Finally, the stupid boy and the time chicken stepped on the last syllable, and finally completed the whole thing chapter of the musical score. Although there are no enemies, it is still very tiring. Boom. At this time, we saw waves of vibrations coming from the honeycomb canyon. The two people turned their heads and saw that the pieces of crystal prisms quickly branched out, like the rhythm of musical notes, some were low and some were high, forming steps. Finally, the highest point shines with light. Time Chicken explained that is the seal. As long as the time is up, turn off the power of the phone, the seal can be unlocked. Yes, the so-called sealing artifact at the top of the crystal prism is a charging mobile phone. There is a plug in the crystal prism. It's just that. Wait, why a cell phone? The stupid boy was stunned and looked at the phone in confusion. Time Chicken said this is the artifact that little King Kong left on the earth. What an artifact! Isn't it just a rice phone? Little King Kong uses rice? Now that you have become the manager of time and space, isn't it embarrassing to just use a mobile phone that costs less than 2,000 yuan, the stupid boy complained crazily. However, Time Chicken said seriously, young man, golly gang, don't underestimate this mobile phone. Back then, in order to get him, humans launched wars one after another. Just to grab a mobile phone, who would believe it? The stupid boy curled his lips. So, this mobile phone is one of the artifacts. What about the other two? Wouldn't it be keys and wallet? No, it's keys and credit cards, Time Chicken said with a smile. Now, there are more black lines on the stupid boy's forehead. Mobile key credit card. He muttered, and then complained wildly it was basically the little King Kong who was left behind on the earth after being left behind, right? Why did it become an artifact? Time Chicken said matter-of-factly, I think it's because rice has a high score. I didn't ask you to answer, that was just a rhetorical question. The stupid boy is speechless. At this time, countless people in the world saw the scene and were speechless when they learned what the so-called three artifacts were. Good guy, the artifact is actually a mobile phone, keys, and credit card. How the hell did this become an artifact? What the heck, can this become an artifact? I can't help but want to complain. If I could have a Tuco energy collector, I would be the most powerful person in the universe now. Laughing to death, just you. By the way, how did this mobile phone, keys, and credit card become a magic weapon? Are these things useless? Haha, I feel like it was the little King Kong who was left behind on the earth after being left behind. I feel the same. Tisk, cell phone, keys, credit card. These three seals are too frivolous, right? It's totally inconsistent with little King Kong's character. Really cool? What style do you want? Is it possible to place the creation scepter here? Besides, do you know what this thing is capable of? After all, it's little King Kong's thing. Even if it's just a mobile phone, there might be many incredible apps in it. And that key, that's even more extraordinary. How could little King Kong's key be ordinary? Maybe it's the master key that can forcefully open all doors. Good guy, can this be rounded? So, how do you explain the credit card? Gee, isn't that simple? Is it possible for little King Kong to use ordinary money? As a time and space manager, at least he will have some kind of high-level currency, right? Just like the spiritual stones in your world, the person who holds this card can overdraw this high-level resource indefinitely without any hesitation. Gee, just imagine what would happen to a person after possessing these three artifacts. Good guy, unlimited resources, the ability to open any door, and an unknown, Internal mobile phone app used by time and space managers. Worry, looking at it this way, whoever gets these three things will definitely be the next time and space manager. Ah, this is getting more and more outrageous. Is there a possibility that this is just your imagination? Haha, just a guess? Laughing to death, I don't rule out the possibility that these three artifacts are just ordinary things, but that is only a possibility, a very small possibility. Let me give you an example. If you were the manager of time and space, what kind of phone would you have? What is your credit card for? Your key, what is it? Would you carry an ordinary thing with you? Meeting. Go, 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 I don't want to tell you. By the way, do you only discuss these three artifacts? Don't you have anything to say about Li Jing? When it comes to Li Jing, what the Is this guy going to run away after taking control? Take control and run? What the hell, let Pinocchio stab someone directly. I really want to complain, but Li Jing doesn't understand his position clearly at all. With such strong control, why run away? Both of them can massacre all the legions present. That is, if I had this magical skill, I would make everyone in this world kneel down. Hey, do you have any weird habits? To be honest, I can't understand Li Jing's brain circuit. Even if he doesn't want to kill or hurt others, he can always control this group of people and let Pinocchio go to the maze to unlock it by himself. In this situation, tisk tisk. Hey, you are such a genius. However, there should be any restrictions on 097 Li Jing's ability, right? Limit. Do you think the river god has any restrictions? Well, yes, the restriction is that anything can only use its abilities if it falls into water, or a river, even a conceptual river. Li Jing must have restrictions as well. Oh, so to put it this way, Li Jing's limitation is the sword in his hand? If there is no sword, maybe it will be useless if it is picked up with bare hands. When you say that, it seems true. So according to what you said, does a hand sword count as a sword? Ah, what if the hand sword counts as a sword? Does the sword finger count as a sword? Damn, you guys are getting more and more outrageous, okay. At this time, countless people were discussing, becoming more and more ridiculous and outrageous. At this time, the stupid boy in the picture was also complaining speechlessly. Finally, he sighed, forget it, don't worry about these details. He took out his phone and looked at the countdown on it. At this time, there were still 10 minutes left in the countdown. There are still 10 minutes left. There is still a lot of time. As long as the seal is unlocked, the door of time and space is opened, and then the temple of time and space is entered, little King Kong can restore everything. The mistakes I made accidentally can be corrected, and everything will not happen. Live the same. The stupid boy smiled and looked longingly at the mobile phone on the crystal on the high platform. That. At this time, Shijiji stammered, a little guilty, and said, young man, there is something that I actually wanted to tell you before. What's wrong? The stupid boy turned his head. It's about the space-time manager and all this mess now. Time Chicken scratched his head, he finally wanted to reveal the truth. Although this chicken doesn't have much conscience, it still has some. Well, the stupid boy looked at Time Chicken, not knowing what he wanted to say. Time Chicken took a deep breath. Finally, he wanted to tell the truth about everything that had happened before, and he really didn't want to lie to him anymore. In fact, all the chaos now is. Time Chicken was about to say, however, at this moment. Boom. A wave of terrifying shock suddenly came through. But what I saw was that at the bottom of the Honeycomb Canyon, a terrifying and ferocious megalodon roared, its tail rolled up, and countless crystal prisms collapsed. Megalodon. The stupid boy looked at the terrifying beast and was horrified. Why is this thing here? The time machine was also shocked. That megalodon beast was really too fierce. Buzz. However, at this moment, a virtual screen appeared behind one person and one chicken. From the virtual screen, a voice came, "Hey, hey, hey. Poultry. Chickens in captivity? Where are you? I told you I was free range, the time machine is crazy." The stupid boy turned his head and instantly recognized the guy on the virtual screen. It's the king of birds. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 273. King of shit, it's you again. The stupid boy looked at the guy and gritted his teeth. Immediately, he thought, it seems that the chaos of time and space has made you travel through time. Ha ha ha, are you playing this game of saving the world again? Still not giving up, the king of birds of a feather looked at the stupid boy with a mocking look on his face. You have the nerve to talk about it? The stupid boy snorted coldly. It's all because of you that I became like this time, with the help of Time Chicken, the world will not be destroyed again. Ha ha ha, stop being ridiculous. The king of birds of a feather sneered. The two of you together have only one use, which is to multiply my revenge by 2, let me enjoy double the fun, ha ha ha. Damn it, I can defeat you this time, the stupid boy said coldly. Okay, let me give you a chance to warm up. King Niao Buletin had a relaxed look on his face, put his hands behind his head, and directly ordered Megalodon, come on. Roar. Over there, the Megalodon roared, fearing the feeling of oppression is overwhelming. At the same time, on the other side, Neza and Snow White finally arrived at the seal and saw the credit card. And on Li Jing's side, they finally passed the maze, panting, and stood in front of the giant cube. I looked at the time, and there was still 5.5 minutes left. The time is just right. Pinocchio looked at the countdown on his phone and breathed a sigh of relief. The two looked at each other and quickly reached the entrance. The seal is in the middle of this palace, Pinocchio said, and he was about to step in. However, Li Jing stopped him. Wait a minute, Time Chicken said, there are many traps here. Pinocchio was stunned, looked down, and saw the red laser. Pinocchio couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. What a danger. The two of them looked at the passage again. Good guys, there are dense red laser lines everywhere. Then, they saw a lock at the end of the road. Well, the lock is an ordinary lock, and the key looks ordinary. The key, there is a key in the lock. All you need to do is remove the key and the seal will be unlocked. It's just that. This key is really hard to pull out. Pinocchio looked at the dense red lines and swallowed. However, he couldn't care about that much. Li Jing was in front of his head, and Pinocchio was behind him. The two of them were just lying on their stomachs and sneaking. As they crawled, Li Jing suddenly thought of what did he say, and he hurriedly warned Brother Long-Nosed, at this time, don't lie. Pinocchio was stunned for a moment, looked at Li Jing's court in front of him, and then became a little annoyed. I don't have that kind of interest. Then, whoosh. His nose grew longer involuntarily, and then, ah! A scream of ecstasy resounded throughout the maze array. At this moment, all the worlds laughed like crazy. Then, I felt waves of coolness coming from behind. Good guy. Countless people said hello. Guy. Everyone looked at everything that happened in the Dao Golden List with weird smiles. Co-author, this Pinocchio actually has. After a long time, Li Jing rubbed his butt with a dark face, endured the pain, and said, brother with a long nose, you'd better invite me first. I already told you that it wasn't intentional. Pinocchio was a little angry. He had no choice but to lead the way. However, at this moment, the red laser slowly descended. Li Jing looked at it, his pupils shrank, and he suddenly pulled out his long sword. Look at the sword. Whoosh! Pinocchio was forced to move in an instant, clasped his hands together, and took the blade with his bare hands. He narrowly avoided the red line. Pinocchio breathed a sigh of relief. However, at this moment, he saw the red line behind Li Jing's head. He subconsciously said, General Li's beard is very sexy. Ahaha, no, nothing, Li Jing said with a smile, still a little embarrassed. However, whoosh! Pinocchio's nose grew longer in an instant, and he pushed Li Jing over, narrowly avoiding the red line at the rear. Li Jing looked at it and frowned. It's a mobile mechanism again. I'm not interested in your beard, Pinocchio spoke calmly. As soon as he said these words, his nose also became shorter. So close, he chuckled and looked at Li Jing. Li Jing also smiled. It seems that you and I are working together more and more. Well. Pinocchio looked at the last red line in front of him and said, as long as we avoid this trap, we can unlock the seal. Li Jing nodded. The two of them planned to step forward. However, at this moment, a cold voice came from behind them. Oh, why are there two cockroaches here? No matter how hard you catch it, you can't catch it. No matter how hard you fight, you can't be killed. Pinocchio and Li Jing looked back. If it wasn't the Witch Queen, who was it? At this time, the Witch Queen was standing at the entrance. She finally passed through the maze and arrived here. Look at the things everywhere, the Red Line Agency sneered. It seems that to deal with cockroaches, you should use a broom. As you can see, the Witch Queen slowly tightened her grip on the broom in her hand and gently slammed it towards the red line. Oops, Li Jing's pupils shrank. Don't want, Pinocchio exclaimed. However, it was useless. The broom lightly touched the red line. The broom was fine, and the red line was fine. The key is. At this moment, Li Jing and Pinocchio both turned their heads and looked at the lock in the middle, seemed to sense the touch. The lock instantly turned into a disrupted Rubik's Cube, directly sealing the key in the Rubik's Cube. Seal! Pinocchio exclaimed. Damn it, 100%. Li Jing gritted his teeth and swung his sword. However, at this moment. Boom! At this moment, the whole cube began to shake. The cube began to topple. Li Jing and Pinocchio were unsteady. The Witch Queen was also unsteady, and the broom came out of her hand. Ah, my broom! It's from Baleno, the Witch Queen felt distressed again. But after looking at the shaking Rubik's Cube, she chuckled again. Forget it, I have something else to do, so I'll give this broom to you. She stroked the brim of her hat, turned and left. Inside, Li Jing and Pinocchio felt the vibration, and their bodies were a little out of control, their center of gravity was unstable, and they almost slipped. However, Li Jing and Pinocchio hurriedly get down and try not to move anymore. They don't want to encounter any more traps. Who knows what changes this thing has? However, the broom fell down, and the red line was touched one after another. Boom! At this moment, the entire cube began to rise into the air, and crisscrossing ravines appeared. The entire cube turned into a huge Rubik's Cube. Hurry, get to the seal first, Pinocchio shouted and looked at the Rubik's Cube that wrapped the key. However, he had just finished speaking. Boom! The area of space in front disappeared in an instant. The huge Rubik's Cube outside twisted. The huge Rubik's Cube only needs a slight movement to change its position. This is the real maze. It seems that you will never come out. Now I am going to catch Snow White. Let's see how you can stop me this time. Ha ha ha, the Witch Queen chuckled, sat on the broom, turned around and flew away. Damn it, Snow White. Pinocchio gritted his teeth, his eyes full of anger. At the same time, on the other side, Neza and Snow White were already waiting in front of the credit card, waiting for the time to arrive so that they could unlock the seal. It can be said that, did not encounter any danger during the whole journey. As for the silly boy and the time chicken, the level of danger was no less than that of Li Jing and the others. One person and one chicken were chased crazily by the megalodon beast. The two guys ran wildly. The time chicken was even more frightened. Damn it, have you ever seen such a monster before? He screamed and exclaimed, it's going to be over, quickly break the seal and run away. The time has not come yet. Didn't it mean that we have to unlock the seal together? The stupid boy hurriedly said. At this time, in the virtual projection screen, the king of birds looked at a man and a chicken running away in panic. He sneered, his eyes fell on the chicken, and sneered, dead poultry, isn't your mouth very powerful? You poke it? You poke it? Where's your fly swatter? Where's your pesticide? Be careful with your resentment. What the hell, the resentment is too heavy. The stupid boy was speechless. How cruel is he to you? How many instant noodle seasoning packets did you steal from him? That's not important. Time chicken ran wildly and hurriedly said, let's find a way to deal with this big gecko first. Gecko? Your gecko is so big, the stupid boy complained wildly. Roar. The megalodon roared ferociously, with sharp fangs and fierce eyes, and bit into a man and a chicken in one sharp bite. Ah, it's over, the time chicken is terrified. Buzz. However, the next second, a golden light barrier instantly rose around it. The stupid boy raised it with his palm and complained about the energy protection. Did you forget something? The stupid young man snorted coldly, glanced at the virtual projection of the king of shit, and said calmly, I once defeated your megalodon. I know exactly what its weaknesses are. Stop being arrogant, the birdless king snorted coldly. He just defeated megalodon. What's there to be proud of? At this time, it was seen that the dull-haired boy aimed his hand at megalodon's crotch, and the golden light shone in his palm. But, at the critical moment, he stopped again. In his mind, Pluto's words flashed, and countless people pointed at him flashed. It was him who blew up the earth. It was just a mistake that caused it. Billions of people died. Billions of people. At this moment, he stopped. Still, I don't dare. He looked sad. Whoosh. There was no other way. He had no choice but to take the time chicken, which turned into a golden light and landed on the ceiling platform in an instant. The time chicken fell to the ground in a state of embarrassment, and complained speechlessly, are you trying to kill me? It looks so cool, I thought you could pull it off instantly. In the end, I still have no choice but to run away. I've killed one before. The stupid boy gritted his teeth, and then said sadly, it's just that I don't dare to attack now. After hearing this, the stupid king laughed, ha ha ha, you don't dare to attack. Are you afraid that the earth will be blown up by you again? Afraid of shrimps? Attack it? Lin Bei, I will use the time and space manager to change it back for you. The chicken of time put its hands on its hips, looked at the megalodon, and spoke calmly. At this moment, it was so infuriating. However, the birdless king did smile and said, time and space manager? Wasn't it already blown up by your own hands? The stupid boy was also stunned. Yes, isn't the time and space manager already, At this point, he suddenly stopped, thought of something, and looked at the time chicken in astonishment. The time chicken was stagnant, sweating. Dumao, the young man, squinted his eyes and looked at time chicken. A little unbelievable. Was blown up by you. The bird not shitting king laughed. Oh. It turns out you don't know yet. How capable do you think you are? Can it cause such a big mess? It's all your best friend's fault. Then, he asked you to take the blame for him. Ha ha ha. The stupid boy was stunned, looked at time chicken with a cold face, and after a long time, he said quietly, is everything he said true? Time chicken opened his mouth, and subconsciously wanted to retort, no, no, This is all just an accident. I want to catch him and prevent him from coming back to destroy the world. Yes. Time Chicken just wants to. We need to stop the king of birds from shitting. In fact, the king of birds from the beginning followed the stupid boy to the terminal of the universe. In fact, the fly he swatted at the beginning was the king of birds. Wait until the boy to modify it. After hearing what he said, he returned to the earth, but the king of birds was still in the room of Time Chicken. Then, he was discovered by Time Chicken. At that time, Time Chicken wanted to kill him in various ways. He used fly swatters, insecticides, and in the end, even pecked with his beak. But because the interface happened to stop in the time and space where the stupid boy was, countless characters followed and poured into this time and space. In the end, it was a peck, and it hit the self-destruct button. Then, it exploded. So, the results of it? The birdless king sneered, "This world has been destroyed by yourself." Time Chicken looked at the stupid boy and said quickly, "Don't listen to his nonsense, I really want to help you." "Are the others all nonsense? Pinocchio and Snow White, Neza and Li Jing, and everyone else, aren't you the cause of all this chaos?" the stupid young man said indifferently. Shijiji was stunned and hurriedly said, "I planned to change back, so I helped you draw a map and brought you here." "Shut up!" the stupid boy shouted loudly, and finally couldn't bear it anymore. "You have been lying from the beginning. You are a liar." Boom! Their punch hit in front of him. Time Chicken was completely stunned, and then he glanced at the power button next to him, and then he was even more frightened. The stupid boy was also stunned, and saw his own hand. Damn, it happened to hit the power button. The time has not come yet, it has been pressed, and the other two seals will disappear. The stupid boy was instantly shocked. Time Chicken was even more frightened. At this time, he no longer cared about the question of whether to lie or not. Obviously, the problem in front of him was more serious. Time Chicken was sweating coldly. Seeing that the seal had not been lifted, he hurriedly said, don't move, the seal hasn't been released yet, maybe because you haven't raised your hand yet, hold on. As we all know, the power button has to be pressed down and then lifted up to cut off the power. It's so funny that you almost have to let go now. You silly boy took out your phone and saw that there was only 1 minute left in the countdown. As long as you hold on for 1 more minute. Will minutes be enough? 1 minute, not very long, just few. A fishy smell assaulted their nostrils. But as they saw, the megalodon was only 1 meter away from them. 1 minute was not a long time. But it only took 1 second for the megalodon to reach them. Eat them. Young man, you must become an outstanding hero. The Time Chicken stretched out his thumb towards the stupid boy. Stop doing this. The stupid boy snorted coldly, I will never believe you again. I shouldn't have listened to your nonsense from the beginning. But Time Chicken opened his mouth and wanted to say something else. No more. I don't need your help anymore. Get out, the stupid boy said coldly, give in. Ha ha ha. Seeing this scene, the king of birds laughed and said, it's so exciting. Are you acting in a movie? However, at this time, Shijiji was particularly serious. What does it mean to act in a movie? Today I am going to be the leading actor for once. Young man, I know it's useless to say anything now. Just 1 minute, right? Stand firm for me and I'll lure this dragon away. At this moment, Time Chicken stepped forward and faced the evil dragon. Linbei, I grew up on the grassland. I drank dew when I was thirsty and ate grasshoppers when I was hungry. Don't you want to eat chicken? Come on, not all chickens are called Time Chickens. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 274. At this moment, as Time Chicken stood up, his back was particularly handsome. Countless people in all the worlds were stunned when they saw this scene. Then, countless people left. At this time, the chicken, looking at it this way, seems to be pretty good. Indeed, although it was a bit unreliable in the front, at the critical moment, it was still quite reliable. Indeed, at the critical moment, it is quite reliable. After all, he used to be the god of the south, so it's normal to have this thought. But, by the way, time chicken, tisk, it's a pity that this second life has no abilities at all. Indeed, no matter how strong your faith is, it is useless without ability. After all, it's still a little bit worse. However, at this time chicken, it is still possible to have this belief. Sometimes, belief is more important than anything else. It is indeed good to have such a heart of sacrificing oneself for charity. This time chicken, tisk, this time, he really becomes the leading actor. It's time to get excited. At this time, the chicken is completely excited. Okay, this time chicken, I agree. At this time, countless people in the world are sighing with emotion. Well, the back of time chicken is particularly handsome at this moment. And at this time, in the picture, you can see that after a crazy provocation, time chicken, he quickly ran towards the distance. While running, he shouted crazily, "Come on, come and eat me, come on, the fragrant time chicken. Time chicken." The stupid boy looked at the back of time chicken in a daze, a little lost in thought. "Do not bother me," time chicken responded loudly. "Time chicken," the stupid boy shouted again. "Do not bother me," time chicken responded loudly again. "I don't care." "You gecko forgot it," the stupid young man was dumbfounded. Yes, the time chicken ran away on its own, and the megalodon didn't pursue it at all. "Do not bother me," however, time chicken still said this. The stupid boy was speechless. There was nothing he could do. Buzz, at this moment, the energy of Tuco was activated, and in an instant, golden light appeared all over him. The golden light barrier instantly enveloped him. I don't know how long it can last. On the other side, where Li Jing and Pinocchio are. Less than a minute left. Where is the seal? 5:03, Pinocchio was a little anxious. There was less than a minute left, but they hadn't reached the location of the Rubik's Cube yet. The key is, if they were looking for it normally, it would be okay, but at this time, the whole building was shaking, like it was like a Rubik's Cube, spinning around wildly, and the seal had already disappeared. The biggest problem now was the difficulty in moving. However, at this moment, the two of them happened to see the magic broom dropped by the Witch Queen earlier. Li Jing and Pinocchio looked at each other. Li Jing directly picked up the magic broom without saying anything. Whoosh! Sure enough, the moment the two of them were on the broom on the table, the magic broom directly carried the two of them flying. This magic broom has magic power, and even ordinary people without magic can control it. Li Jing became a little more skilled after that. Riding on this magic broom, he finally reached the seal in the last 29 seconds. And Li Jing finally got the Rubik's Cube. Just looking at the messed up Rubik's Cube, for a moment, Li Jing also had some difficulties. How to fight this? He subconsciously twisted one side, and then boom! At this moment, the ground beneath their feet also vibrated, as if as he twisted the Rubik's Cube in his hand, the entire Rubik's Cube building also rotated. I seem to understand. The building of the Rubik's Cube is not important. What is important is that you only need to turn one side, and the pattern will change accordingly. Just put all the same colors on the same side. 6 sides, 6 colors. And on the other side, the stupid boy looked at the time with about 10 seconds left, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Ha ha ha, don't you have enough energy? You can't hold on, the king is full of sarcasm. The stupid boy gritted his teeth and held on. Hold on now. Time goes faster. He couldn't help shouting in his heart. There are 12 seconds left. However, these 12 seconds are like a chasm. And on the other side, time will go slower, Li Jing shouted, feeling a little helpless. He has already put together a noodle. He has never been exposed to this kind of thing before, and being able to put together a noodle in just 10 or 20 seconds is considered a gift, BBDC, yes. As long as you give him enough time, he will definitely be able to fight. But, there are still about 10 seconds left, which is not enough at all. General Li, what did Pinocchio want to say? However, stop making trouble now, there is no time, Li Jing shouted wildly, becoming more and more focused as he began to frantically work on the Rubik's Cube in his hand. As for Neza and Princess Snow White, it can be said that there was no sense of tension at all, just waiting for the time to arrive so that they could directly swipe their cards and unlock the seal. Li Jing became more and more focused. Firstly, and then again, he was trying it hard. Hell, one noodle was easy to fight, but how to fight the remaining noodles? Snapped. He couldn't help but angrily smashed the Rubik's Cube on the ground. How can this thing be done well? However, the Rubik's Cube was caught firmly by Pinocchio. He wiped his nose and smiled confidently. I can do it. At this moment, he couldn't help but think back to the past. Once, he was a wooden person, and his peers were not willing to play with him. The old man who created it gave him a gift one day, and that gift was a Rubik's Cube. Yes. He said that the Rubik's Cube has been something he has played with since childhood. How it needs to be turned, how it needs to be operated, and even the formulas, passwords, and assembly procedures have all been engraved in his bones. Everything is familiar to him. This third-level Rubik's Cube is not challenging at all. Long-nose brother, Li Jing looked at Pinocchio in shock. However, Pinocchio did not speak, just took a deep breath, and then brush brush brush. He quickly twisted the Rubik's Cube in his hand. That was so fast. His speed was so fast that after images appeared on his hands, the entire building is also shaking crazily. Finally, untied. A blue light appeared from the Rubik's Cube, and then he saw the lock. Without saying a word, Pinocchio pulled out the key from the lock. Seal, release. Neza and Snow White, swipe the card. Seal, contact. At the same time, in the honeycomb canyon where the stupid boy was. Roar, the megalodon instantly swallowed up the silly boy. The stupid king just laughed out loud. However, buzz. From the mouth of the megalodon beast, a terrifying golden light rose into the sky. What? He looked at the golden light soaring into the sky in horror, and then looked at the sky. 3 golden lights quickly converged towards one place, and finally closed together. Moreover, Li Jing, Pinocchio, the silly boy, Neza, and Snow White, was also teleported directly to the location of the gate of time and space by this golden light. King Birdshit stared blankly at the surveillance screen in front of him in the battleship, still a little unbelievable you actually caught up. Then, he sighed, oh, let them escape again, really? Very good. The birdless king raised his head and showed an excited smile. This way I will have the opportunity to implement the second plan. He directly pressed the red button. The next second, in his battleship, the rocket instantly lifted into the air. After flying out of the Earth, the top of the rocket cracked instantly. Inside, the 3 thrusters were instantly attached to the end of the universe. Stand up. The King of Silence looked at everything in the surveillance screen and sneered. The center of the terminal of the universe is a black hole. If the terminal explodes, the black hole will swallow everything. I will let this black hole hit the Earth directly. He is excited and cruel. He is never discouraged when his plans fail. He has other plans. Boom, at this time, it came from the surveillance screen that the thruster had pushed the terminal of the universe towards the Earth. In response to this, King Birdshit smiled with satisfaction, and then he said directly, "Birdwise, start the spaceship." Immediately afterwards, the artificial intelligence of the spaceship and battleship responded, "Okay, where are you going?" "Of course, revenge," the King of Birds sneered. At this moment, the spaceship started slowly. At this time, the center where the golden light gathers is where the gate of time and space is. Along with the golden light teleportation, the silly boy, Pinocchio, Li Jing, Neza, and Snow White have arrived. Pinocchio looked at it and asked in shock, "Where is the time chicken?" "Don't mention him, anyway, we have unlocked the seal, and the gate of time and space must be here," the stupid boy said, turning around and looking around. "But what I saw was that this place was surrounded by dense buildings, and there were dense doors on the buildings. The gate of time and space is here. But what the hell do you want? How difficult is it to find the gate of time and space? There is no other way. Look for it. Even if you look for it one by one, you must find it. Ha 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 ha." However, at this moment, a sneer that pierced the sky came from the clouds. What they saw was King Birdshit standing on the top of the battleship, wearing a battle armor with a torn red robe, looking at him with a sneer. The people below, who were like ants, mocked, "Are you still thinking about saving the world? Now you don't dare to attack with the energy of complaining, you are nothing but a waste. You are just a bunch of rabble, you can't even control your own destiny." He was taunting. However, Li Jing really couldn't bear it anymore. 100% chance of being killed with bare hands, by a bare blade. At this moment, the long sword was unsheathed and slashed at the stupid king in an instant. Whoosh! The next second, the body of the stupid king disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already kneeling in front of Li Jing, taking the sword with his bare hands. It was a look of confusion and astonishment. Well, the others were dumbfounded. "What the hell, why did you come here?" However, just listening, Li Jing said lightly, "Brother Long-Nosed, it's your turn." Pinocchio smiled, looked at the Bird King, and said calmly, "Bird King, I very much welcome your arrival." Whoosh! In an instant, the nose grew longer. Boom! The long nose directly pushed the King of Birds against the wall. Smoke and dust were everywhere, and screams were heard. At this moment, Li Jing and Pinocchio looked at the King of Birds with a sneer, and said in unison, "Just now, who do you think is a rabble? Cooperation. Tacit understanding. Good guy." At this moment, countless people in the world called good guy. Li Jing and Pinocchio finally developed special abilities. This is called perfect cooperation. Look at the scene again. Then the King of Birds of a feather was directly pushed against the wall, and a huge dent was made in the wall. This push was so terrifyingly powerful. Ah! However, the birdless king sneered, slowly raised his head, and looked at everyone coldly a few moments. "However, this kind of attack doesn't hurt me at all, ugh." Before he could finish his words, he leaned against the wall and began to vomit wildly. The stupid boy curled his lips. "It's nothing at all. What did you vomit out? Shame." And the birdless king wiped his mouth, looked at the crowd, and snorted coldly, "You are bullying the few with more. Do you think you have a chance like this? How do you know if you don't try it?" The dull boy looked at the King of Birds with cold eyes, and his power of complaining was ready to go. Pinocchio is also ready at any time. Li Jing is holding a long sword and can chop it down at any time. However, at this moment, whoosh! Behind everyone, a sinister laughter echoed. The Witch Queen rode on a broom and directly captured Snow White. "Snow White," Pinocchio exclaimed. The Queen turned around, looked at Li Jing and Pinocchio coldly, and snorted, "You guys are really tough. Can you escape like this?" The Queen's witch group also looked at everyone coldly. Seeing the Witch Queen arriving at the scene, the foolish king smiled, "Aren't there more of you than there are people? Now look, who has more people? Cold sweat fell on the forehead of the stupid boy. Pinocchio, Li Jing, and others were also solemn in their hearts. When Li Jing looked at the witch queen, he gritted his teeth and subconsciously wanted to swing his sword. 100% left empty-handed. See this? Come on, the king of birds don't shit, shouted angrily, and the next second. Boom, a terrifying energy shockwave instantly formed in his mouth, and slammed towards Li Jing and others. The golden light was dazzling, and smoke and dust were everywhere. Li Jing and the stupid boy covered their eyes next time. However, soon, they discovered something was wrong. They were not injured. Li Jing turned around and saw a burly figure standing in front of them. It was Neza. Buzz, Neza put his hands in front of him, and used his hands to catch the proud roar of the indifferent king. Finally, the golden light dissipated. Neza felt a little pain, but said with worry, "Daddy, be careful." When Li Jing saw it, he felt heartbroken. "Neza, who asked you to help me?" He looked at Neza's hand distressedly. "Are you injured? Let me see." "The skin on my hands is torn." In this regard, the arrogant king is also a little unbelievable. He only suffered some superficial injuries. "Not bad, kid," he looked at Neza with admiration. However, this angered Li Jing. "Imp." He turned his head coldly, looked at King Bird Shit, and said in a cold voice, "Do you know who he is? He is my son, Chintagwan Li Jing. If you dare to hurt my precious son, I can't spare you. Take your life." Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 275. At this moment, Li Jing shouted loudly with cold eyes. He looked at King Birdshit. However, what he didn't know was, well. Neza looked at Li Jing with joy on his face, and then gave Li Jing a bear hug. "Daddy." He hugged Li Jing with a message, his face full of excitement. "Daddy has never called Neza baby. I thought Daddy hated children. Neza is so happy." However, what Neza didn't know was that Li Jing's bones were rattling in his arms and his eyes were turning white. Neza was happy. But Daddy is so sad. Everyone in Li Jing was numb. Only then did Neza react. He quickly let go of Li Jing and apologized. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it." He was a little flustered and frightened. Ahem. Li Jing was a little weak. 11 I'm used to it. Okay. At this moment, the witch queen gave a cold shout and stopped looking at the farce. She just glanced at Pinocchio and snorted, "Pinocchio, I've had enough fun with you. I'm going to make you into a broom now, and no one is allowed to touch it." As she said that, she pointed the dagger in her hand at Snow White's neck. Snow White was a little panicked. Around her, the witches were already holding wrenches, pliers, hammers and other objects, and sneered as they stepped forward, planning to give Pinocchio a makeover. Li Jing and others subconsciously wanted to resist. However, Pinocchio quickly said, "Don't move, everyone." There was cold sweat on his forehead, and he could only watch helplessly as those witches approached him. The witch queen sneered, "You are really obedient, don't resist at all." As she said that, she looked at Snow White again and sneered, "He really cares about you, it's so touching. Then just watch him become my broom." "No, Pippi, leave me alone," Snow White spoke quickly, trying to persuade Pinocchio to fight back. "Shut up," the witch queen shouted coldly. However, at this time, the dumb king started to eat melons and said with a smile, "Let her tell me, I just like to watch this kind of bloody plot." Hearing this, the witch queen secretly curled her lips and said nothing more. At this time, Princess Snow White hurriedly said, "Pippi, don't you still have dreams? Don't you want to be human? If you become a broom, nothing is possible. You lie. Fight back, Pinocchio." Pinocchio lay on the ground and let the witches begin to transform him. He looked gloomy and sighed. That doesn't matter anymore. Don't worry about me. Snow White was angry and persuaded as long as we defeat them, our world will be restored, and all this will be the same as never happening. That's why I can't ignore it. Pinocchio said sadly, if everything returns to normal, we will all return to our own world. Whether I am a piece of wood or a human being, we will not be together. You have Prince Charming and don't need me at all. If you can only be my memory, then at least please let me only remember the perfect you. So, I can't watch you get hurt even a little bit. The Witch Queen sneered. Oh, yo, that's so touching, please push harder. However, the two of them were completely selfless and didn't care about what she was saying. Snow White shook her head and said, no, I don't want Prince Charming. I don't care whether you are a human or not. I just want to be with you. Don't be stupid, what can I give you? I'm just a piece of wood. Pinocchio looked gloomy. What's the difference between being made into a doll and being made into a broom? Prince Charming can protect you and give you a better life. What can you get by following me? Snow White was silent for a while, and then she whispered softly, love. Yes. It's love. At this moment, Pinocchio was stunned and looked at Snow White blankly. Two people who could not be together got together because of a fate. However, Pinocchio knew very well, they were together, but there was really no result. He sighed. Your love should be with Prince Charming, that is the life you should have. At this moment, Snow White's tears fell silently. Pinocchio, how can you be so selfish? Why? Who are you to decide my life? Tears fell and stained the skirt of his clothes. Pinocchio couldn't bear it, but still whispered, it's not my decision. It turned out that our love was a mistake. At this time, Snow White was already in tears. Whether it's wrong or right, I don't care, all I know is that I love you. I don't love you. Pinocchio stood up suddenly. Couples, break up and break up. Ha ha ha, the Witch Queen was simply happy to see this happen. However, the next second, whoosh, Pinocchio's nose suddenly grew longer and instantly knocked the dagger out of her hand. What? The Witch Queen was stunned. The next second, Li Jing, Neza, and the silly boy took action quickly. The Witch Queen planned to attack with fire, but was directly blocked by the silly boy's complaining energy shield. And the bird didn't pull. The Shit King saw that things had changed and was about to stand up, but he didn't expect that Neza was already standing in front of him. And Li Jing. At this moment, he had picked up the long sword, and slashed it. All the witches knelt down in unison. At this moment, Snow White fell into Pinocchio's arms again. Rotten wood. The Witch Queen gritted her teeth and shouted angrily, give me all the witches, leave no one behind. Whoosh whoosh. Immediately afterwards, many witches were seen coming forward on broomsticks. However, Li Jing just used a sword to forcibly control all the witches, including the Witch Queen. Pinocchio slowly stepped forward, glanced at the Witch Queen. He said calmly, to tell you the truth, I have never been jealous of Swexu. Whoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, his nose suddenly grew longer. The witches still didn't understand what he meant. The nose didn't poke any of them. What was going on? However, they soon knew. But when they saw yes, Pinocchio's head turned slightly. Boom. That long nose was like a terrifying magic weapon, instantly blowing away all the witches present. The Witch Queen was stunned. Lying. Pinocchio murmured softly, and his nose shortened again. I love him so much, how can I not be jealous? At this time, Li Jing glanced at Pinocchio and suddenly said, Brother Long Nose, Li has always forgotten to ask you, why does this person keep pestering you? Pinocchio turned his head, looked at the Witch Queen, and said with a smile, this is because she is the mother-in-law who loves me the most. Boom. The next second, the nose suddenly grew longer. It was an unknown number of meters long, and it directly blew the Witch Queen away. Lying. Pinocchio's nose became shorter again. He immediately looked at Li Jing and sighed, being with my mother-in-law is so stressful. Li Jingshen nodded in agreement. At this time, Neza and the king of Neza were inextricably linked to each other. The king of Neza had a deep understanding of Neza's terror. The physique is simply terrifying to the extreme. The most important thing is that Li Jing, Pinocchio, and the stupid boy have already eliminated the witch group, and now there are more people. It's over, Bird King, stop it, the stupid boy said in a deep voice. Really boring. The birdless king sighed. No one can be trusted these days. You have to do everything yourself. Now you're the only one left, there's no way you can defeat us all, the stupid young man said in a deep voice. However, the king of birds of a feather confidently smiled and said this statement is not accurate at all. At this moment, the battleship slowly appeared above him. Birdwise, he shouted lowly. Buzz. The next second, you can see that light burst out from the battleship, and then swish swish. As you can see, from the hatch, figures quickly fell down, densely packed, everywhere in all directions, directly surrounding everyone. Take another closer look. Damn it! These guys are all stupid kings. Well, this is naturally not the body of the birdless king. These are actually similar to battle suits. The body of the bird-not-shitting king is actually the same as a fly. And these bodies are actually more anthropomorphic mechas. However, there is no doubt that these birds are not shitty kings, and their combat power is actually the same as the original body. I'm such a good boy, Neza looked at so many bird kings in surprise. It was incredible. The silly boy and Li Jing were even more dignified. Come on, the birdless king gave the order, and the next second, the surrounding combatants rushed towards everyone. The melee began. Pinocchio's nose became longer and shorter crazily. Li Jing waved his sword crazily, and Neza swung his sword crazily. With fists, the silly boy quickly assisted in protection. Snow White? Ah, that is a beautiful vase. And among these people, the one that the King of Silence cares about the most is naturally the silly boy. Whoosh, without saying a word, he rushed forward and faced this guy in person. There is no doubt that the dull-haired boy's combat effectiveness was still a little bit behind after all. In the end, he was blasted to the ground by the Bird King, and energy gathered in his hands, a protective shield of vomiting energy appeared all over the young man Mao. Buzz buzz. The ice blue energy continued to hit the energy shield around the stupid boy. Seeing that the light of the complaining energy was slightly dim, the Bird King smiled and said, your complaining energy is not enough anymore, give up. You defeated me last time, it's a complete accident. I won't give you a second chance. Asking for flowers. The stupid boy frowned and said, why must we destroy the earth? The Bird King smiled and said, this time it's none of my business. That chicken, the earth will not be destroyed at all. Speaking of this, I would also like to thank you. Thanks to you, I can find the narrow space of time. With that, the Bird King will enter the terminal of the universe, hide beside him, and follow. He entered the time zone. Yes, the mosquito that the stupid boy swatted twice in the time zone was him. It's just that he didn't pay attention at the time. After learning the truth, the stupid boy was stunned again and looked at the Bird King in disbelief. Is it that I brought you there? Boom. However, the next second, the Bird King slapped the dull-haired boy away. He waved his hand and grinned. The slap is so refreshing. However, it is really ridiculous to think about you. You are obviously a hero, but you blew up the earth. This time it's Time Chicken's fault, you went to wipe his ass again. So, you are not a hero at all. Just watch the world being destroyed in peace. The stupid boy looked at his hands, clenched his fists subconsciously, and said in a deep voice, so what if I can't be a hero? So what if you wipe someone else's butt? If it weren't for Time Chicken, I wouldn't even have the chance. As he said, time is something that only needs to be modified a little bit, and it will bring about unexpected endings. So. However, before he could finish his words, the Bird King trampled him under his feet and sneered, so no matter how you change it, the world will still be destroyed. No. The stupid boy sighed. If you had accepted from the beginning that it was me who blew up the world, then what happened next would not have happened. It was my fault from the beginning. However, at this moment, the time chicken suddenly appeared and praised young man said it well. At this moment, the stupid boy was shocked. Where did you come from? Well. Time chicken ran and turned around, saying in shock, didn't I help you lure away the big gecko? Hoo hoo. He was panting as he ran, as if he was working very hard. You didn't distract me at all, the stupid young people are all numb. Ah. Time chicken was stunned. Then what is chasing me? The stupid boy was startled, and turned his head subconsciously. Then, he became numb again. At this moment, not only him, but also the Bird King, Li Jing, Neza, and Pinocchio were also numb. But what he saw was that he was numb from a distance. At this place, 5 megalodon runners were crushing towards the side. Where did you attract so many? The Bird King and the silly boy complained in unison, which was really scary. But then, the Bird King laughed again. It must be the chaos of time and space that caused more megalodon beasts to appear. The stupid boy gritted his teeth and said, there are so many of them. Are they given by Lieutenant General, wholesaler, or by charging phone bills? Buzz, at this moment, the hair on his head suddenly stood up. He was full of complaining energy. The most important thing is that he was still complaining. How desperate are you? The drama is over. At this moment, along with the complaints, the energy of the complaints was surrounding him, crackling like an electric arc. Whoosh, he broke free from the Bird King's feet, and with a flash of golden light, he appeared in front of the time chicken. He gritted his teeth and said, if you don't want to help, don't cause trouble. Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, the stupid hair on his head lit up again. Whispering sound. The Bird King curled his lips and felt a little unhappy. I actually let you save enough energy again. But then, he said disdainfully, but what's the point? You are worried about your ability in space and time, and are afraid of letting the Earth blow up again, so, you can't attack at all. You are not a hero at all. You should just watch with peace of mind. Puff. However, before he could finish his words, the next second, a golden slap slapped him into the wall. The most important thing is that the countless golden lights flashed and even blew away other Bird King combat bodies. Cough, cough, cough. The Bird King came out of the hole in the wall, looked up, and was shocked. What? He looked at the stupid boy with some shock. But what I saw was that the dull-haired boy at this time had a green cloak and a new set of clothes. There was glittering golden light. There was a circle and cross golden light pattern on his chest. The cross-haired hair on his forehead was even more shining. Shine. The silly boy super evolved. Combat form. Just listen, he said calmly, you are right, I am indeed not a hero. I am the bad guy who blew up the Earth. Instead of shrinking and watching the world being destroyed by you, why not follow me happily? You have a fight. I can't be a hero, so let's compete. Who is it? Even. Bad too. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 276. At this time, countless people in the world looked at the scene and were all surprised. This time I was really surprised. Good guy, can you super evolve? Can you still transform? It seems that the quality is a bit high. Okay, can changing clothes make me stronger? Indeed, you can become stronger just by changing your clothes. At least, you look very strong. Looks strong, okay. Is this the energy of complaining? Can it still be used like this? Good. There's something. By the way, this young man, how should I say, finally got rid of the magic wand in his heart. Hey, who's worse? Okay. At this time, countless people were discussing and sighing. Looking at the Deo Golden list, everyone was a little surprised. And at this moment, you can see that in the picture, accompanied by the cold shout of the stupid boy, he looked at the Bird King coldly. At this moment, the powerful aura was full of oppression. Don't think that you can become stronger just by changing your clothes, the Bird King gritted his teeth, and with a flash of his body, he rushed towards the stupid boy. However, the stupid boy's young man's body flashed and he got out of the way. The Bird King summoned those combatants to help fight. However, the stupid boy just raised his hand. Boom, the terrifying golden light directly blew away those combatants. Then, with another slap, the Bird King flew away again. He is really strong. It is simply terrifying. Young man. Time Chicken was shocked, looking at the stupid boy with a surprised face. Then, he was really shocked again, because the 5 megalodon beasts were heading towards them with a terrifying sense of oppression. Crushed over. That terrifying figure is full of oppression. Kaka, Neza clenched his fists. However, Li Jing stopped in front of him and said calmly, "Stop, don't take action." Pinocchio looked at the 5 huge megalodon beasts, and then said in a deep voice, "General Li, it's just the 2 of us. There is no way to defeat monsters like 797. However, Li Jing still said calmly, "There is no need for you to take action. Leave it to me to deal with it." At this moment, Li Jing drew out his long sword. Everyone looked at Li Jing in astonishment. At this moment, Li Jing faced 5 megalodon beasts alone, his clothes were neatly dressed and his aura was majestic. Immediately, Li Jing was seen jumping up slightly. The next second, the cold light in his hand flashed away, and the swords were shining brightly. One person and one dragon passed by each other. Seeing this scene, Time Chicken and Pinocchio were both shocked. How could he not be beaten with bare hands? Yes, it just passed by in a flash. And the megalodon was stunned and had not yet reacted, and then... poof! The giant toothed dragon beast's body flashed with blood, and it split open from head to tail in an instant. At this moment, everyone was confused. All the worlds were confused. At this time, just listen, Li Jing said lightly, "A monster that can't even put its hands together is not worthy of being my enemy, Li." At this moment, the remaining megalodon was also stunned. He looked at his hands, and then, after 3 strokes and 5 divided by 2, he was instantly defeated by Li Jing. What a guy! At this moment, countless people in all the worlds called him good guy. Yakai can't even put his hands together, so just give him seconds. Unexpectedly, Li Jing is still hiding this trick. Damn it, it's unbelievable. Whoa, this Li Jing is invincible. What the hell? 666. Those with hands were directly controlled by force, and those without hands were directly killed. Damn it, it was unbelievable, it was simply unbelievable. Li Jing is invincible, this kind of ability is simply invincible and invincible. Unbelievable, I just thought that Li Jing's ability was just a strong control, but I didn't expect that he actually had such an unsolvable ability, instant kill, what a guy. Whoa, I was still thinking before, what are the characteristics of Li Jing's ability to be 100% hit with bare hands? Will it be invalidated because the opponent has no hands? Now it seems that the good guy was not neutralized, but killed instantly. It's so outrageous that I would now call Li Jing the best swordsman in the Shang dynasty. What was the first swordsman of the Shang dynasty? This is the #1 swordsman in all the worlds. I am now willing to call Li Jing the strongest in swordsmanship. This kind of ability is simply inexplicable. At this time, countless people looked at everything that happened in the Dao Golden List in amazement. They never expected that Li Jing would still have such a hand. He is really strong. It can be said that Li Jing is the best in the world, single person invincible. No, even the group is invincible. With the sword in hand, it is absolute strong control, strong seconds. At this moment, one can see that in the picture, the Bird King and his fighting bodies are fighting a decisive battle with the dull-haired boy. After fighting for a long time, the dull-haired boy was still unusually ferocious, blowing away his fighting bodies. Even he was blown away. Fierce. This guy is so fierce. So strong. It's really different when I change my clothes. The Bird King looked at the stupid young man with a confused face. Soon, his face darkened again. Okay, you forced me. Birdwise. He shouted lowly, start the integration process. Buzz buzz. At this moment, following Birdwise's order, brainwaves quickly controlled those combatants. Regardless of whether they were those who were blown away or those who were fighting against the stupid boy, they all stopped at this moment, and then, two words appeared in their eyes. Fit. Whoosh whoosh. Many fighting bodies quickly flew towards the sky. The fighting bodies gradually gathered and began to merge. The stupid boy was shocked. Does it really have the function of merging? A group of combatants shouted, I will form the body. A group of combatants shouted, I will form the limbs. The king who has no shit also shouted in a low voice, I will form it, tonsils. The stupid young man was so stupid that he complained wildly, what is the purpose of forming tonsils? Is it used to cause inflammation? However, the complaints were complaints, but they did not affect the integration of the Bird King. Finally, a huge Bird King with a body of over 100 meters tall, shining with blue light and red eyes, appeared in front of everyone. The terrifying sense of oppression spreads, making people terrified. Neza, Li Jing, and Pinocchio rushed forward, intending to fight tooth and nail. However, the next second, the three of them flew back directly. Even when the stupid young man gritted his teeth and rushed forward, he was beaten back. At this moment, the Bird King is very strong, ridiculously strong. Boom. At this moment, there was a terrifying vibration in the sky. Everyone turned their heads to look, but what they saw was that the terminal station of the universe was wrapped in terrifying air currents, rubbing the air, driving flames, and heading towards the earth is coming. The Bird King sneered, you have no chance of winning. The terminal is about to hit the earth. By then, the black hole will swallow everything, ha ha ha. I must hit you. At this moment, the dull-haired young man shouted angrily and violently attacked the huge Bird King. However, no matter how he attacked, the fist fell on the current Bird King, just like scratching an itch, without breaking the defense at all. The Bird King grabbed it, stop, and slammed it to the ground. Smoke and dust flew everywhere, and a huge hole appeared on the ground. King of birds, the stupid young man gritted his teeth and struggled to get up, wanting to fight again. However, Time Chicken finally stood up and said, young man, leave the rest to me. He said, slowly taking off the name tag around his neck, looking at the giant Bird King, and sneered, the reunion is amazing, isn't it? Lin Bei, I will also transform into a fighting form. Transform, the stupid boy, Li Jing, and others all looked at the Time Chicken solemnly, with some expectation faintly appearing in their eyes. At this moment, they could see that the Time Chicken slowly tied the name tag on his head, as if sighing or recalling unexpectedly, after so many years, I actually met someone worth fighting for. He gently stroked the scar on his eye, and finally opened his eyes again. In his eyes, there was no longer the carelessness before, replaced by fierce murderous intent. The giant Bird King felt in this look, to the deep chill. The Time Chicken shouted coldly, and the next second, golden light emerged from the whole body, and the loud shout spread throughout the heavens and the world. Time Chicken fighting form, transform. The golden light soars into the sky, instantly drowning the chicken of time. At this time, countless people in the world were wide-eyed and excited. Haha, I knew that the time chickens were friends after all, they were the gods of the south. Sure enough, they really had a fighting type. Is this going to be a pullback? Tisk, even if you pull, you are still a god. It should be easy to kill this bird king, right? I knew that although Time Chicken was just a part-time worker, he was still a member of the Space-Time Administration. If he had no skills, why would he be in this position? Sure enough, there is still a fighting form. I just don't know if it will turn into the previous lot or if it will take a new form. If it turns into diarrhea, it seems to be useless. Indeed, there seems to be no use in turning into a pull. The main reason why pull is powerful is because of technology, because of the magic staff. Without the magic staff, without technology, pulling is really pulling. However, I have to say that the god of this world is really awesome. Although God pulls it, judging from the Bird King, the Stupid Boy, etc., this world still has a combat power system. I don't know what the Time Chicken can do at this time. You think, is it possible that it is the evil energy that controls this world? Yes, the energy of complaining is so strong, so what is the setting of the energy of committing crimes? Confessing the second energy? This? It seems that the Bird King is the one who controls the energy of Faer, right? Damn it, where did you get the settings? Am I so excited? I didn't sleep either. Yes, I didn't sleep at all. I was watching it from beginning to end. Why didn't I know that the guilty energy was the energy controlled by the Bird King? Haha, I said I am the king of birds, do you believe it? You're the king of birds. If you were the king of birds, I would be little King Kong. Let alone complaining about energy, aren't these things all settings created by law? Is it possible that Wanjie, at this time, directly controls the combination of guilty energy and complaining energy, and directly uses memes as energy? Use memes as energy? What the hell, every Joker can be invincible in the universe. At this time, countless people were looking at the Deo Golden List, looking at the golden light shining around the chicken in the picture, countless people were discussing excitedly and looking forward to it. At this moment, you can see that along with the golden light shining all over the Time Chicken in the picture, a phantom like a phoenix is looming. Could it be that, the Stupid Boy is solemn? Hiss, the Bird King also took a breath. Finally, when the golden light dissipated, everyone looked at the Time Chicken again. But you see, the Time Chicken at this time is, well, still a Time Chicken. What the heck, there's no change at all. Transformation completed, Shijiji smiled and turned to look at everyone. At this moment, the scene was silent. The Stupid Boy was silent. Li Jing was silent. Pinocchio was silent. Even the Bird King looked at the Time Chicken with a confused face. So, has anything changed? Everyone asked in astonishment. Of course. N.A. Time Chicken pointed to the name tag above his head. But as he saw, on that name plate, after Time Chicken, there was also the word fight. The combination is Time Chicken fight. It's just a suffix added, Li Jing and Pinocchio complained wildly. Look at that Stupid Boy again. Click. Suddenly, the crosshair on his head suddenly exploded, and the golden light overflowed and turned into dots and disappeared. Everyone was stunned again. Broken, broken. Well, at this moment, the Stupid Boy seemed to have bouts of nausea. Li Jing hurriedly asked, "My dear friend, why do you look so uncomfortable and want to vomit?" Pinocchio also asked, "What's wrong with you?" However, the Stupid Boy, the young man, didn't have time to pay attention to it. Finally, he couldn't bear it anymore and spit it out. but surprisingly, what he vomited out was not filth, but lines of words. Your transformation is too shabby. You're just here to be funny. Is the suffix still written? Why don't you draw some ABS for yourself? When everyone looked at it, their faces were full of confusion. Then, they saw the dull-haired boy looking at the sky godlessly, opening his mouth, and in an instant, streams of golden light spurted out from his mouth. In the golden light, there were densely packed, the text of the barrage. At this moment, the dull boy was surrounded by those words. That was the countless things he wanted to complain about, but couldn't. That was the energy of complaining materialized. Feeling the waves of words that seemed to be material, the Bird King was shocked by the energy of complaining. This energy, no, it's impossible. He looked at the stupid young man in horror, and soon he realized it. With a solemn look on his face, he must have said too many words just now that he wanted to complain about, which caused his brain to short-circuit, and he ran away with the energy of complaining. Yes, the complaining energy went berserk. At this moment, the stupid boy was wrapped in dark red light, like a red and black figure. The materialized complaining energy of high energy ahead surrounded him. Terrifying power shaking the world. Time Chicken looked at it and exclaimed, "Young man, stop quickly. If you let this energy get out of control, you will blow up the earth again." However, the Bird King curled his lips and said, "It's useless. He has lost consciousness now. You can just watch the destruction of this earth." Ha ha ha. He sneered. But soon, he couldn't laugh anymore. Because, at this moment, the stupid boy who had gone berserk faced him and made an attack gesture. Then, boom, he teleported to the Bird King in an instant, punched him hard and knocked him over. How is this possible? He was horrified. But then, he saw that the stupid boy grabbed his finger and threw it away. Boom. The Bird King hit the ground heavily, and looked at the stupid young man who had gone berserk at this time with a confused and unbelievable face. His face was full of astonishment. You can actually control such a strong power? No. My benefactor hasn't recovered his consciousness yet. At this time, Li Jing looked at the battle above with a solemn face. Pinocchio frowned. That means he is fighting entirely on instinct. Yes, he is fighting based on instinct. The most important thing is that the stupid boy at this time is really strong and terrifying. The Bird King he fought was defeated step by step, and he had no power to fight back. Time Chicken, cheer up and encourage young man, show your strength, show your strength. No need for Time Chicken to cheer me up. At this time, the stupid boy is already incredibly strong. Boom, he punched the Bird King directly and flew away. It's too strong. It's too strong. The Bird King is no match for the stupid boy who is running rampant at this moment. At this moment, the stupid boy was surrounded by the high-energy barrage condensed with the energy of complaining, finally turned into 6 big characters. The universe complains and counterattacks. At this moment, the materialized complaining energy was transformed into countless barrages, which instantly blasted towards the Bird King. At this moment, the Bird King's huge body directly collapsed. That stupid boy defeated the Bird King once again. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 277. Good guy, you are really strong. I never thought that this joke-like energy of complaining could have such terrifying fighting power. Sure enough, any energy system cannot be underestimated. It's a pity that we don't have this kind of energy in our universe, otherwise, each of us would have incredible strength. Really, complaints can gain energy, cross-stock talkers can rule the world, and jokers can rule the universe. Alas, the laws of the world are different, the rules of the world are different, and we can only be envious. I'm so envious of this energy of complaining. If our world had this energy, I wouldn't be like this anymore. Haha, you won't be like this? Facts have proved that the weak are the weak, no matter in which world they are. Indeed, besides, even if the universe has the energy of complaining, it requires specific people to use it, just like this silly boy, who also has this kind of power after being transformed by aliens. At this time, countless people watched with emotion what happened in the picture. At this time, in the picture, as the Bird King fell, the stupid boy finally returned to his original appearance, as if he had released his violent state, slowly falling to the ground, closing his eyes, seeming to have fallen into a coma. Well, Big Brother is so awesome, Neza was overjoyed and wanted to step forward. Time Chicken quickly stopped him. Don't go there yet, he is out of control now and will explode. At this time, the Bird King lying on the ground also smiled. Haha, although you defeated me, the thing you were most worried about still happened. This world will be destroyed in your hands again. Yes. At this time, the complaining energy in the stupid boy's body is still in an unstable state. The terrifying energy around him is trembling violently, as if it will lose control at any time. Neza and others can't help but exclaim. Big Brother, wake up quickly. Wake up. My benefactor, please wake up. Young man, please wake up. At this moment, everyone shouted. However, the stupid boy was unmoved. In response, the Bird King sneered, it's useless, even if he can control the energy of complaining, the world will still be destroyed. Boom. At this time, in the sky, the terminal station of the universe finally fell down and hit the ocean. The terrifying aftermath of the shock spread. The terminal station of the universe, in front of the Earth, was only a small satellite, but there is a black hole inside this terminal of the universe. Terminus, crap, Shijiji's face looks ugly. Wow. Thief prep, the sea water rising into the sky began to spread, and at the same time. Buzz. The terminal station of the universe began to collapse. Finally, a black hole appeared on the surface of the Earth, and its terrifying suction force began to crazily devour everything around it. The black hole will swallow everything, and you can only wait to die. At this time, the Bird King sneered, and his body was slowly lifted into the sky by the battleship. These people can only wait to die. And he, and his battleship, can still leave here. He actually escaped. Li Jing's face was ugly. But he couldn't stop it. He looked at the stupid boy and shouted quickly, wake up, my benefactor. Wake up, Big Brother, Neza also shouted with all his strength. Wake up quickly, Pinocchio is also a little anxious. Young man, the Time Chicken shouted. As the voice kept ringing, it reached the ears of the stupid boy. Finally, his eyelids trembled slightly and he slowly opened his eyes. Buzz, a red-white light flashed in his eyes. At this time, inside the battleship, the Bird King sneered, Birdwise, speed up. Get rid of the black hole's gravity. He gave a direct order to leave the Earth. Boom. At this moment, the spacecraft began to tremble and accelerate. However, after accelerating for a long time, Birdwise report finally came, the spacecraft cannot accelerate. What? The Bird King was stunned, and then he quickly looked for problems. Then, he saw the stupid young man in front of his spaceship, pushing with both hands. He alone pushed the anti-battleship to accelerate, keeping the battleship motionless in place. The Bird King, I was stunned, and then, extremely gloomy. Why is it you again? The Bird King snorted coldly, Birdwise, use all your firepower. Boom. At this moment, the trembling of the battleship became more and more intense. However, the speed of the spacecraft was still extremely slow, like a turtle speed. The Bird King went crazy. Why are you working so hard? Even if you regain consciousness, the black hole will still be there, and you can't really stop this world. However, the stupid boy just sneered, who said, I want to save the world, did you forget it? I'm just as bad as you now. Wait a minute, What do you want to do? The Bird King exclaimed. He seemed to realize that something was wrong. Since he is a bad guy, he will naturally cause destruction. The stupid boy sneered. Destroy your spaceship, destroy this black hole, destroy all your plans. At this moment, the silly boy roared, pushing against the spaceship and forcing it into the black hole. No, don't. At this moment, the Bird King was horrified. The terrifying suction force had swallowed up half of the spacecraft. Now, if he wanted to run away, it was too late. Finally. Buzz. A terrifying golden light energy flashed away, and the black hole finally began to shrink, and the terrifying suction force also disappeared at this moment. Ah, young man. Under the ruins of the building, Time Chicken got up and turned to look at the black hole that had no suction and was still shrinking. He realized something in an instant and sighed. You actually used the out-of-control energy of complaining to destroy the black hole? Snow White said subconsciously. So, are we all saved? Pinocchio was silent and said the black hole is shrinking and the gravity is disappearing. Woohoo, but, big brother, Neza was crying. At this moment, he was really a child weighing 300 pounds. Shut up, stop crying, Li Jing scolded. Neza silently moved the stone tablet, put pictures and flowers on it, built it into a grave, and cried, Big brother is gone. Treason. Li Jing went crazy. Don't be so unlucky. Clang. At this moment, Li Jing drew his sword and slashed down. Whoosh. However, at this moment, a golden light rushed out of the black hole instantly. The dull-haired boy, with dull eyes, knelt on one knee, clasped his hands together, and steadily caught Li Jing's sword. Lie down. Damn. At this moment, everyone present was stunned. Even Li Jing, his face was full of confusion and disbelief. They were both surprised and shocked. Damn it, what the hell, was it sucked out of a black hole? This characteristic. Shocked. At this moment, countless people in the world were shocked. Damn it, this conceptual ability is simply unbelievable. What the heck, it can even suck out existences from black holes. Did Li Jing do this on purpose? Or was it unintentional? Why do I feel that Li Jing's ability is so incredible? Is it still to be developed? Hiss, I feel now that Li Jing's ability is a bit buggy, it's really a bit unbelievable. Good guy, I used to only know that black holes swallow things, but now it's better. Damn, Li Jing can actually snatch food from the black hole's mouth. If Li Jing continues to practice, can he designate who will take over the sword later? Damn it, it's even scarier when I think about it. At this moment, countless people in the world were shocked. At this time, in the blue and white world. Hiss, Mr. Go took a deep breath from his cigarette, shook out the ashes, and looked at Li Jing in the picture with some trembling heart. Sure enough, being above the laws of nature is undoubtedly a characteristic, but... He murmured, silently. It seems that this ability, which is 100% used by people with bare hands, has yet to be developed. Mo Qian looked at the sword-wielding Li Jing in the Dao Gold list, his eyes flickering. That's the characteristic, the ability is there, and different effects can be achieved by using it in different ways. And this was 100% picked up empty-handed. The white blade. If, in the end, you can designate who will pick up the white blade with bare hands, does that mean that you can even cross space and the world and let people pick up the white blade with bare hands? Even black holes can be forcibly pulled. This kind of ability is not impossible. If this is the case, 100% chance of being caught with nothing, plus his characteristics. For example, he shoots Li Jing into a certain world, and then lets Li Jing use 100% chance of being caught with nothing, and then he travels to that world with him. Go, hiss, what a guy. This ability is a perfect match for him. At this moment, Mo Qian's eyelids trembled as he looked at the Dao Golden list, his eyes flashing with golden light. Of course, the premise of all this is that this Li Jing has this kind of ability, the kind of ability that can cross the world and let people pick up the sword. At this time, in the information world, 100% chance of being caught with bare hands, this characteristic can be regarded as. Wanjie looked at Li Jing's information on the screen and smiled softly. This ability was indeed as he imagined, it was astonishing. Used well, this is not only an auxiliary skill, but also an instant kill skill. Moreover, the ability to be 100% caught with bare hands is also very deep, at least higher than many bugs he has seen. And, soon, Wanjie noticed something again. If we want to talk about something that perfectly matches Li Jing, it seems to be that sword. He suddenly sensed something and raised his eyebrows slightly. It was a sword. Of course, it was not a sword from their world, but a sword from another world. That sword is called the Supreme Divine Sword. And the ability of this sword, Tisk. Wanjie smiled. At this time, along with all the worlds, countless people looked at the Dao Golden List, and all of them were filled with emotion. And at the critical moment, the stupid boy was rescued, and the crisis in this world was finally lifted. Finally, the stupid boy woke up. Then, the time chicken took the stupid boy into the gate of time and space. Although this place has been destroyed to a great extent, the gate of time and space is still there. Well, the gate of time and space, a broken door with a note labeled Gate of Time and Space. And behind this door is where little King Kong is. The rest is left to the stupid boy. Li Jing didn't know what the stupid boy said to little King Kong inside. But he knew that everything was back to normal. He was transported by a blue space door and returned to his original world. Pinocchio and Snow White naturally returned to their original world. Well, he didn't know whether the two would continue to be together. At this time, on the edge of the East China Sea, outside Chentang Pass, Li Jing looked at the magnificent sea, with the sea breeze blowing and his clothes spread. He returned to his own world. But, he was still thinking about adventure in another world. He turned his head slightly, looked at the burly figure Neza playing with the sand on the beach, and smiled. Although Neza was still just a child, this time, he had grown up. He looked at Neza sitting on the beach, burying himself in the sun, chuckled lightly, turned around and walked back without caring. Naturally, he wasn't worried about what danger Neza would encounter. Well, it should be someone else who is in danger. At this time, on the beach. Well, it's so comfortable to bask in the sun on the beach. Neza buried himself in the sand with a contented look on his face. However, at this moment, some urgent voices came from the sea. 157 Hey, Your Highness, please stay. Oops, I'm so bored. Why don't you just come out and play for a while? If your Majesty has something to do with His Highness the Crown Prince, should His Highness return to the Dragon Palace as soon as possible. What the hell? Can I go later? That's what my father said. Oh, Your Highness, please don't embarrass me. At this moment, I saw two guys walking towards the beach. One had an ordinary face, ice blue hair, and two dragon horns on his head. He was wearing a gorgeous robe, and he looked like he was either rich or noble. And the other person was wearing an official robe and carrying a turtle shell on his back. These two people and their conversation. At this time, countless people in all the worlds laughed when they saw it. Alas, is this a dragon? So this is Prime Minister Turtle? Prime Minister Turtle? Dragon. There is also Neza buried in the beach basking in the sun. Could this be Ao Bing, the third prince of the Dragon King of the East China Sea? Good guy, Ao Bing. Oh, Ao Bing? Whoa, wasn't he the one who was skinned by Neza? Damn it, it seems to be true. Ao Bing is in danger. Ao Bing, run. Ha ha ha, Ao Bing is gone. Although I know that Neza is very kind, But, hey, I'm afraid that Ao Bing will vomit blood and die after seeing Neza. By the way, is this over? What happened in the end when the young man found little King Kong? Don't you want to explain it? So, is the protagonist the young man? The protagonist is Li Jing. Ah, this, if you didn't tell me, I would have thought it was a time chicken. Thank you, Riddler. By the way, what happens next? Neza beat Ao Bing to death? Then remove the bones and return them to the father, and cut off the flesh to exchange for the mother. No way. This Neza doesn't have that bear either. It's true that it's not that bearish, but this Neza, well, is very fierce. No need for Neza to beat Ao Bing to death. Ao Bing would be scared to death when he saw Neza. Good guy, is it true? By the way, I don't want this Neza to die. This Neza is the kindest Neza I have ever seen. Well, having said that, accidents are always inevitable. By the way, will the Li Jing of this world also become the Li Jing of fairy tales in the future? No, I saw Li Jing being very nice to Neza. At this time, countless people were discussing. But what they saw in the picture. At this moment, Ao Bing had noticed Neza buried in the beach. Just look at Neza's little face, it's so exquisite. Oh, what a beautiful little beauty. I need to strike up a conversation. Ao Bing Dang smiled, took 2 steps forward, looked at Neza, and said with a smile, oh, this girl is so excited. She is really a beauty. Why don't you come and do something happy with Xiao Wang? Neza looked at it and said subconsciously, well, can you stand back first? Ao Bing Neza said with a smile, you are on top of others. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 278. At this moment, countless people in all the worlds were holding back their laughter, looking at everything that happened in the picture in amazement. Good guy, Neza really didn't know what he said. I don't know. What an impact Neza would have on Ao Bing. Just when countless people were thinking this way, they saw that in the picture, accompanied by Neza's words, Ao Bing's face was also full of confusion and shock. Ao Bing? The impact of these words on Ao Bing cannot be ignored. What the hell is this? Standing on someone else's body? What kind of tiger wolf talk is this? Can this be said? Can this be seen without coding? Is this audible without muting? You can tell, Neza snorted, I hate it, I have to say it a second time. You are on top of others. At this time, Ao Bing was completely petrified. Then, boom. He felt a terrifying vibration coming from under his feet. Neza got up, and the terrifying figure like a mountain of meat appeared in front of Ao Bing. The muscles were tangled, and the back was strong. The veins were like big dragons. The roots are very visually impactful. The key is that Neza's voice is particularly immature and shy. You are standing on someone else's bed. How many times do I need to be told, how shameless? Ao Bing? He looked at Neza's terrifying figure in a daze, feeling the pressure coming towards his face. He vomit. He rolled his eyes, foamed at the mouth, and fell straight down. He died on the spot. When Neza saw it, he was shocked and asked quickly, brother, are you okay, what happened? Neza stepped forward to take a breath, and then his expression changed. No breath. Need to be rescued quickly. His face was full of worry, and then he subconsciously placed his hands on Ao Bing's chest. In his mind, the experience of adventure on Earth and in another world rang out. I don't know if it was a time machine or Snow White, or maybe it was some knowledge that the silly boy taught him. It is said that when a person is unconscious and unconscious, he can be revived by pressing the heart. This method is called cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Heart compression. Neza looked solemn, and then took a deep breath. Me, press. He exerted slight force on his hands, and then, poof, in an instant, blood splattered all over Nezah's face. Nezah. Oops, it seems like you're trying too hard, he stuck out his tongue. At this time, countless people in all heavens and worlds had their mouths twitching. What do you order? Is that a point? That's 100 million points. Good guy, Nezah has no idea about his own strength. He has no idea how strong he is. What about cardiopulmonary resuscitation? Damn it, with this palm blow, my heart was crushed, let alone cardiopulmonary resuscitation. This Aobing is really miserable. I just thought that Nezah in this world would not kill Aobing, but I didn't expect that with just a light touch, the person was gone. Laughing to death, I never expected that Aobing was actually saved from death by Nezah. Is it okay to save lives? You are really against the will of God, how can you still save someone? Before, I was still thinking that Aobing might be scared to death, but now it seems that he was saved from death. Ha ha ha, please ask for the psychological shadow area of the third prince of the Dragon King. 2333. 666. I laughed so much that my ABS popped out. At this time, countless people in the world are complaining, and they are laughing hard. But at this time, it can be seen that in the picture, accompanied by Nezah with a bloody face, he is still apologizing. It seems that there is no realize the seriousness of the matter. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll assemble it for you right away. With that said, Nezah started assembling it with bloody hands. Well, this long thing, should be here. Oh. What is this round thing? No matter what, it should be here. As Nezah pieced it together, the blood dyed the beach red. And this scene was all seen by the Turtle Prime Minister. He looked in horror at Aobing, who was beaten to death by Nezah. He turned his head stiffly, then took a deep breath and ran wildly while shouting, "Yao Shao, you are killing someone. No, you are killing a dragon," he said. Running wildly, he fell headlong into the sea. Nezah was a little speechless, but he didn't care about that and continued to piece it together. At this time, you can see that the picture changes. In the picture is Li Jing's study. At this time, Li Jing was drinking tea and reading a book. However, at this moment, dark clouds covered the top, and angry shouts came from the clouds. "Li Jing, Mr. Li Jing, get out of here. Li Jing, come out and die. I'm waiting here with a gun. Li Jing, get out and die." Li Jing frowned slightly. At the same time, Wang Er's shouts came from outside the door, "Master, Master." Li Jing frowned, a little unhappy. Who is so bad at picking the right time? Wow! The door suddenly opened at this moment. "Master." As soon as Li Jing turned around, he saw Wang Er, who was extremely coquettish. Wang Er hurriedly said, "Master, something serious has happened. What's going on outside?" "Report quickly," Li Jing said in a deep voice. "Ahem." Wang Er coughed slightly and sang, "Hey, Master, listen to me, there are a bunch of gods flying in the clouds outside. Calling the Master's name makes people angry. Even if it is a god, it is a mistake. Master, please give up. Get them out, yo-yo." "Oh shit." Before Wang Er could finish singing, Li Jing had already left the door with a dark face and arrived at the martial arts arena. At this time, the sky was still shouting and cursing. Li Jing's face turned slightly dark, and he subconsciously raised his head and said in a deep voice, "Li Jing is here, what do you want from me?" At this time, among the dark clouds in the sky, there was a man with icy blue hair on his head. 2 dragon horns, skin as white as jade, a proud and enviable figure, and a beautiful woman wearing a luxurious dragon robe, Ao Guang. What a big murder weapon! At this moment, countless people's eyelids twitched in all the worlds. At this time, Ao Guang saw Li Jing coming out, his eyebrows were raised, and he snorted coldly, "Li Jing, do you still recognize me?" Li Jing looked at it, and his previously dark expression gradually softened, and he smiled. "Ah, it turns out to be Miss Ao Guang. I haven't seen you for many years. How are you? It's so close." But he didn't want to. Ao Guang snorted. "Li Jing, look at the good things your good son has done." "My son?" Li Jing was stunned for a moment and said quickly. "Senior, are you blaming the wrong person? My eldest son and second son are both practicing in Mingshan. My third son is only 7 years old. He is young and ignorant. What could he do to make you so angry?" "It's your third son, Neza." Ao Guangjiao shouted. "Stop talking nonsense and call your son out. I will confront him, or I will demolish your Chintagwan." When Li Jing heard this, he frowned and said quickly, "Senior sister, just tell me if you have anything." However, before Li Jing could finish speaking, the huge shadow blocked Li Jing. "The person coming is none other than Neza." "Daddy, I'd better tell her," Neza said, then raised his head, looked at Ao Guang in the sky, and said, "Dragon King, I did accidentally hurt your young master Ao Bing, but I have reassembled him. It's okay if you don't say this." As soon as he said this, Ao Guang became angry, pointed at Shui Bai beside him and shouted angrily, "You call it assembled? Even the species has changed, okay." "Woof woof," the snow-white mastiff stuck out its tongue, panted, and barked. "Li Jing?" He was a little confused, and then he hurriedly asked Xiao Zaza, "What's going on?" "Well." Neza scratched his head and hurriedly explained, "He was shattered on the floor, so I tried to put it back together." "Well, yes, Ao Bing was really shattered on the floor at that time. Probably, it was broken into pieces, and other words." Then, Neza forcibly spelled these words into the word mastiff. Li Jing was shocked. "Can you still spell it like this? How did you spell Ao Bing into a mastiff? Where did that go?" Neza said a little aggrievedly, "Well, I really couldn't think of it, so I crushed him into a dot." "Then you can split it into 2 characters and spell them out as a certain star." Li Jing made crazy complaints. He felt that if he had a Tuko energy collector now, he could defeat the Bird King. At this time, countless people in all the worlds were also twitching their mouths crazily. "Worry, what's going on with Neza? I used to think that Neza was just a kind-hearted person who didn't know life or death, but I didn't expect that he could really put up a fight. Good guy, this is so outrageous. Did you break the name into pieces when you wrote it in pieces? Can you still fight like this? Is this Neza's conceptual ability, or what the hell is it? The left hand controls life and death, and the right hand controls creation? Good guy, Neza is really incredible. Alas, after all, I still suffered the disadvantage of being uneducated. What a pity for Ao Bing. Ha ha ha, have you been turned into a dog? This Ao Bing is so miserable. Ha ha ha, I feel that if I had an energy collector to complain about now, I would be at the top of my game. Worry, I'm so old-fashioned, I don't know how to vomit for a while." At this time, countless people complained, watching everything that happened in the picture. At this moment, you can see that in the picture. Li Jing sighed, clasped his fists and said, "Sister, the matter has come to this and is irreversible. Why don't you make a condition? Li will try his best to do it without any hesitation." Ao Guang he squinted at the King Kong Barbie like Neza and snorted, "I want your son's life." When Li Jing heard this, he was shocked. "Sister, this is absolutely impossible. Neza just accidentally hurt your family. Young master, sin does not lead to death. If you really don't want to, then don't blame me for being tough," Ao Guang shouted coldly. The next second, she saw a huge red crab behind her, holding an even bigger claw. Its mouth parts opened, and the high-pitched voice sounded, "Where hey, take your life." The atmosphere at the scene was tense. Li Jing's face darkened, his hand subconsciously fell on the hilt of the sword, and he said in a deep voice, "If you want to touch my son, you must get through me first." Seeing this, Ao Guang's face darkened and he snorted, "Li Jing, how brave are you, dare you point your sword at me? He, my king, don't be anxious." The crab next to him sneered, "That soft sword can't even cut my fur." As he said that, he swayed and appeared in front of Li Jing instantly. Clang! At this moment, the sword collided with the claws. The crab firmly caught Li Jing's long sword. He caught the white blade with his bare hands. So fast. "Commander Crab, when did you develop this ability?" Ao Guang was stunned and said subconsciously. "Commander Xie? When did I have this ability?" He was dumbfounded. His face was full of confusion and shock. This is not his ability. He ran away without control. In front of Li Jing. Boom, however, before he could think clearly, the next second, Li Jing kicked him away with a whip kick. Boom, the smoke and dust were everywhere and the crab commander was even more confused about his life and death. Ao Guang and others were shocked. Li Jing said lightly, "Don't underestimate Li. After so many years, I have not been idle. I have practiced it to the extreme to be able to catch the sword with my bare hands 100%. Every time I swing the sword, I can designate who will catch the sword with my bare hands." Holy shit! At this moment, countless people in all the world stared with their eyes wide open, a little unbelievable. Good guy, can Li Jing really develop his abilities to the extreme? Who is designated to take the sword with bare hands? It's simply terrifying. It was controlled by force before, then it was group control, and now it is controlled at will. It is against the heavens, it is simply against the heavens. Worry, if Li Jing practices another kick, he can directly knock countless people over with this sword and kick. It's so unbelievable that I call him a good guy. Invincible, simply invincible. From being passive at the beginning, to being active later, Lilia Hao, I had guessed before that Li Jing's ability would allow him to actively designate who would take the sword. Now that I see it, it's really possible. Worry, Li Jing can now challenge the heavens alone. Alas, I suddenly thought of a possibility. What would happen if Li Jing held two swords and chopped them down at the same time, and designated one person to pick up the swords? Well, that man put his hands together and caught both swords firmly. Oh, what if the other sword slashes in the other direction? Will the person designated to receive the sword jump back and forth between the two swords as if stuck in a bug? Is the stuck bug still okay? By the way, is there a possibility that the other sword is directly ineffective? Alas, is there a possibility that another sword can directly kill it instantly? Boy, does this make sense? Well, I think that makes sense. This is so unreasonable. An instant kill is an instant kill of a person who cannot put his hands together, or has no hands, but can catch a sword with his bare hands, then he will not be instantly killed. The high probability is that when the other sword is swung down, the sword will move back and forth. Repeatedly jump horizontally. Perpetual motion machine, right? It's a stuck bug, right? I think Li Jing can definitely give it a try. Maybe, you can unlock new features. Tisk, dual sword style, if you can kill instantly, wouldn't you be invincible? Not to mention the two sword style, if Li Jing had a different knife in his hand and the swords struck together, wouldn't killing someone be like killing a dog? Cut it down with a sword, and it is 100% sure that it will be picked up with bare hands. Cut it down with a sword, and directly harvest the dog's head. Well, who stipulates that if you catch a sword with nothing, you will only catch a sword? Can I pick up a different knife? So, then switch to a gun and become invincible. Damn you, is this gun of yours a cold weapon? Or a thermal weapon gun? No matter cold weapons or hot weapons, they are all invincible. Good guy, a spear swordsman, right. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 279. At this time, countless people looked at what was happening in the picture with emotion. That's a surprise. It's really amazing. Unexpectedly, Li Jing has already practiced this to such an extent that he is 100% caught with bare hands. Damn it! At this time, the crab commander gritted his teeth, stood up, looked at Li Jing and his son, and shouted angrily, I will fight with you. Neza, accept your fate. He jumped up, leaped high into the sky, and flew towards Neza. Li Jing was stunned. Here I go, he is obviously a crab, but he has such good jumping ability. And Neza, looking at the big red crab with 8 legs, his expression changed and he slapped it away. Yeah, people hate spiders the most. Boom. The next second, the crab streaked across the sky like a meteor. In an instant, it turned into a star and disappeared completely. It was unknown where it flew. Seeing this scene, Ao Guang and others were stunned. Well. Li Jing sighed and advised, stop it, senior sister, even if you come together, there is nothing you can do against Neza. Yes, Neza's big man, Neza's terrifying body, just standing there, let others cut it, and no one else can cut it. And Neza only needed to raise his hand a little, and he couldn't bear it anymore. This is the gap. The absolute gap in strength. Ah. However, Ao Guang did sneer, do you think I can't do anything to you? If you can hit my son, he must not be an ordinary person. In this case, I won't show mercy. Wow. At this moment, her whole body was filled with water vapor, and waves of sea water rose into the sky. The huge waves were like the Milky Way pouring in. What? Li Jing was shocked. After hearing this, Ao Guang smiled lightly and said, I will imitate the White Snake Empress and come to flood Chintaguan. Let's see which one is more important, your son's life, or the lives of hundreds of thousands of people in Chintaguan. Panic. Now, Li Jing is really panicked. Hundreds of thousands of people. Or, his son's life. Who is more important? At this moment, countless people in all the worlds were looking solemnly at everything that happened in the Dao Golden List. Sure enough, it turned out to be like this again, Chintaguan's life and his son's life. What the hell is this choice? Haha, after all, Li Jing is not strong enough. If Li Jing was strong enough, he wouldn't even pay attention to Chintaguan. Indeed, if we can protect Chintaguan, what is this small problem? I think Li Jing still has some benevolence as a woman. As a general, he also has terrifying conceptual abilities. With one strike of the sword, no matter what monsters you are, kneel down. When the time comes, let Neza harvest and slaughter the East China Sea Dragon Mansion. Haha, I want to see it. Do you care about your life? Or am I not afraid of death? Boy, I thought so too. Indeed, Li Jing's ability is simply incomprehensible. In this case, with one sword strike, how can you flood Chintaguan? However, if Li Jing thinks so, then he is not Li Jing. Indeed, it won't be like this after all. It's a pity. If it were me, he would have slaughtered all the members of Donghai Dragon Mansion long ago. Why is Ao Guang so arrogant? Woe are you so cruel? Ao Guang, this kind of thing, task, are you so ruthless in destroying flowers? Haha, that's ridiculous, who cares about women when they are strong? So what if she is a stunning beauty? The beheading must be done. By the way, will Neza die next? Not to mention, this is really possible. Worry, Neza must not die. Yes, this Neza is quite pleasing to the eye, and he is still kind-hearted after all. If he really died like this, Ugh, it would be a real pity. Then it depends on how Li Jing chooses. At this time, countless people in the world are discussing and watching everything happening in the picture. At this time, as the huge waves were overwhelming Chintaguan, Li Jing's expression was particularly solemn. "Senior sister, you are so despicable," Li Jing looked at Ao Guang coldly. "Baby hee hee." Ao Guang sneered, "Are you praising me for being as delicate as a baby? Although I don't know why I suddenly said this, I still thank you in advance. My son's life. The lives of the people in Chintaguan. Not one of them can be missing. But if I ask my senior sister to take back her magic power, Li will go up to the mountain of swords and go down to the sea of fire without any hesitation. If not..." Li Jing suddenly unsheathed the long sword in his hand and shouted in a low voice, "Don't blame Li for risking his life. Here, there was a sharp and tense sword. And over there. Beautiful one. This king is indeed so beautiful that I am ashamed of my beauty. But it's useless even if you try your best to praise me now. Do you think I will let you go if you do this?" Ao Guang sneered. "That's totally wrong." Black lines dropped from Li Jing's forehead. He was really angry. He swung his sword fiercely and shouted angrily, "Bio, your brother-in-law. I'm speaking Chinese." However, before he could swing the sword, he saw Neza suddenly appearing beside him. Neza was a little anxious and said quickly, "Daddy, please don't do it." As he said that, he subconsciously pushed towards Li Jing. Li Jing looked at it, his pupils shrank, and he subconsciously raised his hand to block. Then, boom! His whole body was spinning, and he hit the wall directly. "Oops, I accidentally struck too hard. Is Daddy okay?" Neza looked at Li Jing with some concern. "Li Jing. Everyone else is numb. At this time, just listen," Neza continued. "Daddy, if you had just taken action, the Dragon King would have rolled up a huge wave, a big wave. As the surge surges forward, the lives of hundreds of thousands of people in Chintaguan are at stake." Li Jing vomited blood and looked at Neza speechlessly. "Your father's life is really in danger." Seeing that Li Jing seemed fine, Neza turned his head, looked at Ao Guang with sharp eyes, and said in a deep voice, "Dragon King, don't you just want my life? Then don't implicate innocent people. If you want to die, I will give it to you." As soon as these words came out, Li Jing's heart trembled, and he shouted loudly, "Neza, what do you want to do? Don't mess around." "Daddy, I'm sorry." Neza whispered, "Hire has caused you so much trouble. Instead of sacrificing the people of Chintaguan, it's better for him to end it on his own. Otherwise, the Dragon King won't let it go." "Neza." Li Jing was startled, and then he gritted his teeth and shouted, "You unfilial son, how can you abandon your parents who have given you your body, hair, and skin? Don't stop it yet." At this moment, with Li Jing shouting loudly, the sword slashed towards Neza. Snapped. The next second, Neza's figure appeared in front of Li Jing. He knelt on one knee, clasped his hands together, and took the sword with his bare hands. Neza pursed his lips, looked at Li Jing calmly, and said, "Daddy wants to use Bai Jing. Is it 100% to stop the child from being picked up with bare hands? Children know their weaknesses." Neza said, using a little force on his hands. Click. Along with the clear sound of shattering, what I saw was that cracks appeared on the long sword, and then collapse. The long sword shattered instantly, and the shimmering sword fragments were scattered everywhere. "Just listen," Neza's voice continued to sound, "as long as the blade is destroyed, Daddy will not be able to use this move, right?" Li Jing stared at his broken sword. Neza stood up slowly, with a soft and cute voice, with a little determination. "My child's move is indeed against filial piety, but no matter what, I can't let my father carry it for me. Such a sin. Although it was not the child's intention, this body has brought a lot of trouble to Daddy and Mommy over the years, right? This disaster also happened because of the child, so let the child. This is wrong. Li Jing yelled angrily, and then said in a low voice, Yao Zaza, although you always slap daddy on the wall, and although your rations alone are equivalent to the whole family's total, we have never I hate you, but I have never thought you were a trouble. No matter what happens, you will always be daddy's favorite child. As the words fell, Neza's eyes, Beck, gradually shone with tears. That was recognition, that was recognition. Once upon a time, there was a treacherous son, an unfilial son, and an evil obstacle. But, Li Jing, here comes someone. I have disliked this third son. No matter what, this Neza is his child. Maybe the child is a bit bigger and often gets into trouble. But, he is still his son. Whose son doesn't get into trouble? Moreover, Neza is kind-hearted. Apart from this big guy, he is a real good boy. Therefore, he has accepted Neza for a long time. However, he rarely says it out. Now, he finally said it. Neza looked at Li Jing blankly, and finally, the tears fell uncontrollably. Daddy. He looked at Li Jing, cried and laughed again. He choked and said, Neza is really happy to be your son in this life. He was happy, but... Buzz. At this moment, a golden light appeared in Neza's palm, and Neza's soft and cute voice sounded again, please forgive the child's unfilial piety. Neza can only repay the kindness of your upbringing in the next life. Buzz. At this moment, Neza stretched out his hand and waved it directly towards him. No. No, Neza. Li Jing's tears fell instantly. He roared angrily and moved forward uncontrollably to stop him. However, it was too late. Everything was too late. Buzz. At this moment, a spiritual light soared into the sky. In an instant, it pierced the sky and the dark clouds, and the sky became clear again. At this moment, Neza slowly came to the end. His eyelids gradually became heavier, and the picture in front of him gradually became clearer. Dissipated. He looked at his daddy running towards him. He looked at the tears falling in his daddy's eyes. He smiled. I always get into trouble, but you never stop me. Because of you I don't want to stop the joy of growing up. My son has grown up. Let me dare to act like a man and shoulder the responsibility. Other people's children study hard and make progress every day. They are obedient. They are the children of the world. Role model. I am different from them. I am Neza, and I was born as a 9-foot-tall Barbie King Kong. I also know that you have worried, doubted, and quarreled with your mother. But you have never given up, I'll just give birth to a stronger daughter. But I'm a man, I can take responsibility and shoulder the responsibility. I'm watching you, day by day. I learned, bit by bit. Every action of my body has your mark. It was you who taught me true courage, it was you who taught me to stand upright. Neza, 7 years old, died. Boom. At this moment, Neza's body like a mountain of flesh crashed to the ground, and smoke and dust rose. Li Jing stepped forward and looked at the body that was gradually losing its temperature. Li Jing was silent, and slowly clenched his fists. At this time, all the heavens countless people in the world were silent, and after a long time, they sighed. Alas, what a pity for such a good child like Neza. Just die like that? This Aoguang really deserves to die. This Aoguang deserves to die. Alas, Neza died like this? What a pity, what a pity. I was thinking before, Neza is so scary and powerful, who can kill Neza? I never expected that Neza would commit suicide. By the way, why did Neza commit suicide? I can't figure it out, I really can't figure it out. If he doesn't commit suicide, with the combination of Neza and Li Jing, it won't be a problem to kill them all in the East China Sea. It's a pity. If it were me, I would have killed Ao Guang long ago. Who would have gotten her to be arrogant? You are very spiritual in this Ganfan. Is this Ganfan of yours the Ganfan that I understand? By the way, is Li Jing's weakness actually his sword? Without the sword, this ability is broken. By the way, does a hand sword count as a sword? The hand sword is still a bit far-fetched. One should ask, does the sword finger count as a sword? Yes, I think Li Jing's abilities can be explored more deeply. Why is this sword finger not considered a sword? Speaking of Neza, why are you talking about Li Jing's ability again? Tisk, I'm used to seeing this kind of deep love between father and son, it's boring. That is. Don't you all have a father? At this time, countless people were discussing, lamenting, and sighing. At this moment, it was seen that the picture in the golden list of the avenue was gradually frozen. Immediately afterwards, new lines of gods appeared in the picture. Tattoo. Second place conceptual cheat. Representative figure 2, Li Jing from the 10 Cold Worlds. He is Li Jing, the commander-in-chief of Chintaguan under the disciple of Master Baxi Kunlun Dui. He is also the legendary king of Totally. He has a 100% chance of being hit with bare hands and has never hurt anyone in his life. He has a terrifying instant kill ability, can't put his hands together, and is not worthy of being his opponent. He was the #1 swordsman in the Shang dynasty. Famous in the heavens. But no matter who he is or what he does, he is always just a father. He wields his sword to save people, and he also wields his sword to slay demons. But he couldn't save his son. His ability is inseparable from the sword in his hand, but because of this, in the end, he missed it. The only time his ability was cracked was with his son. 100% caught with bare hands, Li Jing, the first swordsman of the Shang dynasty and the father of Neza. Hereby, give out rewards. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 280. At this moment, with the appearance of the divine patterns in the Dao Golden List, a new picture appeared in the picture. In the picture, it is located in the martial arts field of Li Mansion. Neza, Li Jing stands proudly in the field. In the sky, dark clouds cover the sky, and Ao Guang and the water tribes are coming to press them. It's exactly the same as the picture on the Dao Gold List before. At this time, it was seen that Neza had a golden light on his hands, tears fell from his eyes, and he was about to commit suicide. Although the scene was also shown in the Dao Golden List, he already knew about his death, but he did not. He has no desire to change. He believes that the only way to solve the current situation is to commit suicide. He also committed suicide later to resolve the crisis. Stop it, you bastard, stop it! Li Jing shouted loudly, his eyes were about to burst. He looked at the great Dao Gold List and watched helplessly as Neza committed suicide in the picture. Now, is it possible that in reality, he can't change anything? He was unwilling to do so. He waved violently, bring out the long sword. Aha! The silvery white light flashed away, and Neza's figure appeared in front of him instantly, with his hands clasped together, kneeling on one knee, and taking the sword with his bare hands. Daddy! Neza looked at Li Jing in a daze, looking at the tears flashing in Li Jing's eyes. He smiled and then said sadly, Daddy, you have also seen that only the death of the child can relieve the crisis in Chintaguan. Shut up! Li Jing shouted loudly, it's not your turn as a child to take care of adults' matters. However, the disaster this time was caused by the child, Neza said, but was interrupted again by Li Jing. So what if it started because of you? You are my son, Li Jing. If the son gets into trouble, the parents will naturally be responsible for it. This is the responsibility of being a father. If you step back, I will handle this matter, Li Jing spoke in a deep voice. Neza was silent for a while, and then smiled casually, Daddy, Neza is really happy to be your child in this life, but, no matter what, I can't let daddy bear it for me. Such a sin. So, I'm sorry, daddy. At this moment, Neza exerted a little force on his hands. Click. A crack suddenly appeared on Li Jing's silver sword. Stop it, you bastard, you dare! Li Jing's pupils shrank and he shouted loudly. However, it was useless. Collapse, the silver-white longsword broke and shattered instantly, and the fragments of the silver-white longsword were scattered everywhere. At this moment, Neza also released 100% of the forcible control of taking the white blade with his bare hands. He stood up slowly, and in his palm, he appeared again low beam. No, no, Neza! Li Jing shouted angrily, but it was too late. He watched Neza commit suicide, and saw Neza's hand about to fall. However, at this moment, buzz! At this moment, on the golden list of the Great Avenue, a golden light instantly enveloped the whole world. At this moment, the whole world stopped spinning. Everything was frozen in this moment. And at this moment, it was seen that on the golden list of the Great Avenue, the divine patterns on his body slowly fell down, and finally landed in front of Li Jing, and then merged directly with Li Jing. Well, Li Jing suddenly felt that he could move. The golden light penetrated directly into his body. While his body was strengthening at the same time, his conceptual ability, which was 100% empty-handed, was also strengthened at this moment. He suddenly understood. Seeing that Neza was about to commit suicide, he glared sharply and shouted loudly, "Treason, look at the sword!" He slashed out of the air, and Neza's figure inadvertently appeared in front of him, kneeling on one knee. "Put your hands together, take the sword with your bare hands." No. There was no sword blade in Neza's hand, and there was no sword blade in Li Jing's hand. He just waved the hilt of the sword, waving the non-existent sword, and performed a 100% chance of being caught with nothing. Neza is confused. In the sky, Ao Guang and other high clan were also stunned. At the same time, countless people in the world were also confused. What the hell is this? What's going on? I'm so full of questions. What the hell is this? Even if the sword in your hand is broken, can you still use this ability that is 100% guaranteed to be picked up with nothing? I can understand using a hand sword or a sword pointer. This is a sword in concept after all, but what the hell does this hilt also do? Well, the hilt of the sword also bears the word sword. I think this is very reasonable. It's so reasonable. How the hell is this reasonable? This is so unreasonable. What's going on? What kind of abilities did Li Jing acquire? At this time, countless people were discussing, horrified, and watching everything that happened in the Dao Golden List. And at this time, in the picture, with everyone's confusion, Li Jing smiled slightly and looked at the Dao Golden List, as if talking to himself, and as if explaining to everyone. He smiled lightly and said, "This time, Li has a new understanding, not limited to objects, plants, trees, bamboos and stones can be used as swords." Gradually, he has reached the point where no sword is better than a sword. Realm. Plants, trees, bamboos, and rocks can be used as swords. No sword is better than a sword. Hiss. At this moment, everyone took a breath. Whoa, this Li Jing is invincible. This Li Jing is incredible. Plants, trees, bamboos, and stones can all be used as swords. In a situation where there is no sword but a sword, the sword demon Dugu seeks defeat and calls himself an expert. Good guy, is this okay? Plants, trees, bamboos, and rocks can all be used as swords. Good fellow, I call you good fellow. At this time, countless people were sighing, looking at everything that happened on the screen. This time, Li Jing's last weakness also disappeared. Before, Li Jing's weakness was that if the blade was destroyed, he would be unable to use it and be 100% empty-handed. Take the sword. But now, hell, there is no sword blade, how can you destroy it? There is no doubt that this wave is a big strengthening. A real big strengthening. Just when countless people are sighing. You can see that the picture in the middle, Li Jing turned to look at Ao Guang and snorted coldly, today, my son Neza's life is guaranteed by me. Even if little King Kong comes, it will be useless. I said so. At this moment, the clothes are so neat. Li Jing's domineering spirit that belongs only to his father shines in Neza's eyes. In the Dao gold list, the screen disappeared. At this time, countless people in all the heavens and worlds still have not come back to their senses. Very emotional. Previously, the river god had received a quantitative improvement, from the original 3 to 6, and Li Jing directly became better than having a sword without a sword, and any grass, wood, bamboo, or stone could be used as a sword. This ability is simply outrageous. Is this conceptual ability? Unbelievable. Really outrageous. This Li Jing is already invincible. Plants, trees, bamboos, and rocks can be used as swords. He can take out any object and control countless enemies. If he encounters a monster without hands, he will kill it instantly. Tisk, outrageous, simply outrageous. The key is, the weakness is gone. I thought that this Li Jing would get a divine sword that could never be destroyed. However, it turned out to be such an improvement in ability. It was terrifying, simply terrifying. A divine sword that can never be destroyed. It does look impressive, but what if the sword in Li Jing's hand suddenly fell off due to carelessness? Therefore, this kind of improvement in ability is needed to truly become stronger. Das Hang's #1 swordsman is worthy of his name. What is the first swordsman of the great businessman? This is the best swordsman in the world. The best swordsman in the world? I, Master Tongtian, am not convinced. Leader of Tongtian? It's so funny, even if the Tongtian cult master comes, facing this sword, he will still have to take it with his bare hands. Worry, what do you take for a saint? Are saints so incompetent? Yes, he is still a saint after all. Even if this conceptual ability is outrageous, even if it goes against the will of heaven, it will not have any impact on the saint, right? Tisk, that depends on the settings. I still feel that my conceptual abilities are at a higher level. No, it still depends on the issue of cosmic laws and incompatibility. If it is not compatible, this conceptual ability is just a useless skill. If it is compatible, it is a real magical skill. Compatible? Haha, I'm laughing so hard. Didn't you see that Li Jing traveled across the world, from Das Hang to Earth, and still has this ability? It can be seen that Li Jing's ability is not a matter of compatibility in the universe. That is a heaven-defying ability that neither the universe nor the laws can control. Does the universe take care of it? Good guy, this is really unsolvable. No, not necessarily. Although Li Jing traveled across the world, from Das Hang to the Earth, he could only travel through time and space under the Shilen world. If he left the Shilen world, for example, Li Jing traveled to Zetian, or the perfect plane, maybe, this law ability will disappear. Who knows? After all, it's a different world with different laws. At this time, countless people were talking and discussing. At the same time, in the blue and white world. Well, no sword is better than having a sword, this ability, Mo Kyung raised his eyebrows slightly. At present, it seems that the weaknesses of Li Jing's ability are not very obvious. It's really not easy to find a countermeasure. It's not like there's no way to counter it, Master Go smiled. After all, he is a senior member of the club. If one way doesn't work, then there is another way. Following Mo Kyung's gaze, Master Go said with a smile, since the sword cannot be destroyed, then let Li Jing be unable to swing the sword. Since if he can't swing a sword, he won't be able to use it 100% to catch the sword with his bare hands. In this case, his ability can be considered broken. Well, that's right too, Amokayan nodded. So what if he can't destroy the sword? When God closes a door, he must open a window. If he can't destroy the sword, then Li Jing can't swing the sword. Just like the Bird King before, when Li Jing swings the sword, taking advantage of Li Jing's forward movement, he directly interrupted with an ala roar. This completed the cracking of the ability. Moreover, interrupting is one thing, and restraining is another. If you want to prevent Li Jing from swinging his sword, then there are so many ways. But I just don't know if Li Jing can cross the world and let people take the sword with bare hands. Amokayan's eyes flickered. At this time, in the fighting spirit world, Xiao Yan looked at everything that happened in the Dao Golden List in a daze. Another big guy finished his inventory, he sighed, feeling a little helpless. Li Jing naturally knew about the legendary King Li Tian of Tota. Naturally, he also knew about Neza, the legendary third prince Neza. But, this Li Jing and this Neza made him a little confused. I was confused, and at the same time, I was even more emotional. Whether it is Li Jing or the river god, these two guys must strive to become friends. If not, they can only be killed quickly, otherwise, there will be endless troubles. Suddenly, Yaezun's voice reached Xiao Yan's ears. Xiao Yan was startled. Now, his strength has surpassed that of Dozun, and he has firmly become Do Saint. He has collected almost all the strange fires in the world, and with the help of God's flame, what kind of soul heaven divination? He didn't take it seriously at all. He was an ant that could be crushed at any time. However, now Yaezun said that these two guys must become friends. Otherwise, there will be endless troubles. Then Li Jing, although he is the future king of Tota, and the god of river, although they have terrifying conceptual abilities, their own strength is only average. How can they cause endless troubles? You kid, you still don't look far enough. Yaezun was a little helpless and explained the river god has absolute control over resources, that Li Jing is a group battle, absolute control of a single target. Together, no matter what happens, these two people can stand at the top and can be developed and cultivated. There is no doubt that these two are absolutely indispensable assistants. Whoever gets them is a huge threat. What's the meaning? Xiao Yan was stunned. I have a hunch that the future is about to unfold, Yaezun said in a deep voice. This is already the count of the second place. What will happen when the count of the first place is over? There is no doubt that something big will happen. And Xiao Yan, among the many sons of luck among the horns, they are not too prominent, but they are against the sky. Only by working together can we go further. In this regard, Xiao Yan just remained silent. At this time, the mortal world and the spiritual world. Today, Han Li has reached the transition between the combined stage and the Mahayana stage. He can survive the catastrophe at any time and ascend to the fairy world. And now, after looking at the two guys with conceptual golden fingers, his eyes narrowed slightly. The heaven palm bottle appeared in his hand, and he couldn't help but think about it in his mind. I don't know if this thing will take on 5 other forms if it falls into the river. The golden light in his eyes flashed. That's all for Li Jing. If he really encounters these people in the future, this river god is definitely the one he must fight for. The ability of the river god is really unbelievable. If the river god becomes his teammates, haha. With 6 heaven palm bottles, he is invincible in the world. Of course, the pom-pom bottle is still the main support after all. It would be great if there is a magic weapon that can defy the sky. Alas. Han Li couldn't help but sigh. To be honest, he is also very worried now. With the emergence of various conceptual abilities, their traditional abilities seem to have become a little subtle. I don't know if I can obtain conceptual abilities. Han Li's eyes flickered. At this time, countless people, countless children of destiny, and countless existences in the world all looked at the great Dao golden list, and they all had different views on the river god and Li Jing. Just when countless people were thinking about it, they saw that the divine pattern in the golden list of the avenue appeared again. Divine patterns gathered one after another, and finally, a new inventory began. It can be seen that in the golden list of the avenue, the divine patterns are constantly changing, and finally condensed into lines of golden characters. The inventory of the two representatives of the second conceptual gold finger is over. The third representative figure of the second conceptual gold finger, let's start taking stock. The third representative figure of the second conceptual gold finger, Hongmeng Continent Ling Yu. Dry.